Hitting live now. There we go.
Go. Go where? To space?
Sure. Sure. Hey guys.
Hello.
Having some technical issues.
I mean, is it technical issues when you have to completely reinstall the thing you're trying to use to create the thing you're trying to do? That's just like restart completely. Several PC restarts and uninstall and reinstall. But hey, once everything's done fresh, it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. So welcome back, guys. It's time for Mandalorian Monday. There we go. That's better. All right, now it's working. All right, cool.
Final Mando Monday of 2020. Yes, 2020.
Yeah.
Made that mistake earlier. So
season 2.
Double checking. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah. So welcome back, guys. It is time to chat Mandalorian. So hopefully you guys are excited. We got 34 people here with 25 likes. This is a really good episode, guys. We should have more people. Hopefully we get some. Yeah, hopefully get some good numbers.
If not, it'd be a quick live, because you would think this would be the one with special guest star Grogu. You know, he's finally in the show after decades of waiting. He finally appeared with his green use of the.
That's awful.
Well, I don't want to spoil it yet. So, you know, hopefully people join in and say, hey. Yeah. I mean, I'll start sharing straight away.
Please do. All right, guys. So yeah, if you want to send in a super chat to get your comment read, your question answered, that is a great way to support the channel. Olivia already has done so, which is awesome. So thank you, Olivia. We will get to that as soon as Sam is back from sharing this around. Hit that like button. That's another great way to help. Just do the regular things. Join the channel if you can. There's a join button down there. Also, you can go to Patreon/Trekyards is another great way. You can also send a PayPal if you wish to trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know in the chat that you sent to PayPal, and we will read that from the email from PayPal, your question or comment there. So different ways to help us out. And yeah, if you can, please do. We look forward to talking to you about this episode and have a good time doing so, because this was a good one. So you got another super chat there. That's awesome. Thank you, Eugene. We'll get to that in just one second. But yeah, so this is the last of the Mandalorian season 2 for this year. Well, for this season. They timed it pretty well because Discovery's got one episode in 2021, which is kind of crap. Because the way the bleed over for the new year is just kind of like, couldn't you wrap this up sooner? But oh well, it's fine. But we won't see the Mandalorian again until December of 2021, so a full year from now, which is, I think, fine. People have been speculating that the Book of Fett, which we'll talk about later, is season 3 of the Mandalorian. It is not. It has been announced that it is a separate thing. So keep that in mind, guys, and don't get sucked into believing those things. But anyway, yes, hit that like button if you haven't. We have 46 people watching with 39 likes. That's pretty good. I think we can do better. Hopefully we get some good numbers for this one. You guys did come out in force to show this a few chapters ago. The chapter of the Jedi. You guys showed that you wanted to keep these going. This is the last one. I'm glad we're doing it because it is fun to talk about. But if you guys can show your support, we'd really appreciate that. So. And
if not so much, the next year we may just do 2 or 3 at a time and just kind of.
Or just do the season at the end.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. That's a year from now, so we got a lot of time to think about it.
That's true. It's hard to speculate when you've watched the entire season. That's why, or at least like maybe 3 chunks. You know.
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. It's not up to us, guys. It's up to you. So.
Yeah. Olivia Julius though throws in $5. Thank you. To be honest, Maud Brian didn't give me a piece of cake today, so now I'm cranky. Hit the like button, or I'll sick Baby Yoda on you. Well, it's Baby Grogu, so
yes,
you got to go back in time to find Baby Yoda.
Yes, and thank you, Ozzy. Appreciate it. I'm in 4K. If you want to see me in 4K, all my face problems in 4K, face problems and face beauty in 4K. I released a video today. We should watch that, Stuart, on your big TV at 4K.
I did not.
See how I look in all the resolution.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Yes, I mean, you want to see my face more and more, don't you? That's how this works.
No. I mean, yes, of course I do. Eugene throws in 500 rubles.
Hey,
Thank you very much. Almost perfect episode, but for the axe wolves suspiciously missing and that face. What are axe wolves? Don't know what that means.
I know a lot about Star Wars, and that is...
Yeah.
Tell us what you mean, Eugene!
Yes. Need clarification there. Fat Produce, though, $5. I got temporarily banned from a Star Wars group for posting a meme comparing Luke's CGI to a potato. Felt like Borat. Give me your tears or I will take them.
Oh. Well,
it wasn't the best CGI. He didn't move very much. And it's okay. They've since deepfaked it, and it looks way better.
Oh, but... well, they haven't. Fans have.
Yes. Which is odd. But anyway. Sebastian, a.k.a. Space Daddy, throws in €5. How you guys are not watching the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. How we're not watching it? By being on here live with you guys. That's how. Is it happening like right this second? Is it like literally this second?
That's where hundreds of fans are. That's where they are. They're all doing it.
I'll just wait till it happens and somebody time lapses it, then I'll watch it. It's like, okay, cool. Sweet. I don't have to wait for it.
And I've been busy editing Trekyards every single hour today, so I've been nothing else today except Trekyards, so
yeah.
And Dave says for me it's already gone, so okay. Thanks, Dave. Oh. See, you set us up, Sebastian, and then Dave ruined it.
Bill Barkley says, still haven't done an Expanse review, and we're on season 5. You're right. Ian Smith throws in $5. Hey, guys. Love seeing the Return of the Jedi. Green never looks so good. I felt like a kid again. Merry Christmas to both you and your families. Well, thank you very much. This was very much a Christmas gift from Disney and Dave Filoni and... yeah.
Well, really just from that team, because we've got other presents from the other people. Because normally they are December releases, and it's just like,
yeah,
3 films. And Jedi Vulcan clarifies that the other person, the guy, was the Axe Wolf, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what happened to him.
I mean, I had no opinion of him, so...
Yeah.
He left no impression, so I have no opinion. He was busy doing something else.
He was taking a dump in the bar, and they forgot all about him.
Always playing darts. Besides, weren't they already OP enough? Really? Did you need another person to not say any dialogue and shoot random people?
We need somebody to get killed. We need somebody to get killed by a Death Trooper. Or Dark Trooper.
Or just run out of Stormtroopers and use better troopers. Like, it's fine. We're out of Stormtroopers. All we could use is Elite Troopers that die easy, just not too easy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome, guys. 71 of you here now. It's a lot better numbers. Let's hopefully keep climbing. But we have 50 likes. That's all right. I mean, there's a lot of you that haven't hit like yet, so hit that like button, guys.
If you liked the episode, you should click like. Irregardless of us, the like is the episode. You know.
Irregardless is not a word. Regardless. I know. Is a word.
I said that. I knew I was.
But it's fine. It's fine because now irregardless is a word because everybody's been using it so fucking much. The Webster's Dictionary actually made it a word, so I can't even say that anymore.
Told me off and then proved I was right in the same sentence.
Yep. There's still the correct way to do it and then the modern way. So.
To be fair, you told the world off and then I didn't get the memo either.
That's okay.
Briefly though, just very briefly, did you like my lack of spoiler yet still quite cute thumbnail?
Yes. Yes.
I restrained myself heavily, but I didn't.
Although when I was doing screen caps, I thought of a better one, a much better one.
Oh.
After he torches the Death Trooper, the Dark Trooper, whatever the hell they're called, and it's like you got that shot of its head with the flames. It's like, yeah, it's Ghost Rider. That would have been an awesome thumbnail.
But then you spoil he fights Dark Troopers.
Yeah, do you though?
Well. Yeah.
It could have been shot and like.
Oh no, it could have been. But I thought this was just nice over ending the season. Just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no spoiler that the hero got the hero, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The Saint. £1 with no comment, but thank you very much. That is very much appreciated.
You, sir, or madam, are a saint. You're also
Indeed.
quite nice too. Anyway, Stuart, what do you think of episode 16, or season 2, episode 8, or Return of the Jedi Part 2?
Damn near perfect episode. We'll see my score at the end, but really love this. This is one that got reactions out of me, and that never happens. I'm not influenced generally by fiction. It's like, oh, that's cool, or ooh, that was neat. That's about it. But this one, I was literally like, ooh, that's so awesome. And plus, I called this. I called it was probably going to be Luke, and everybody's like, no, it's going to be Ezra Bridger.
I said weeks ago as well, and you were like, no, they're probably not going to do it. I was like, yeah, but it makes sense if they do.
No, I did not say that. I've been saying from the beginning that it makes perfect sense for him to be to be Luke because of his Jedi Academy. I never once would say.
Well,
you got to show me video evidence of that.
Guys, go back and look, because I've been on this team the entire time.
So have I.
But it's very much like the Discovery, where you think it makes sense, they don't do it. But if it makes sense, they do it at the show.
I said it makes perfect sense. I really want to see Luke. I said, will they do it? Maybe not, but. But I was in my first reaction reviews, I was fighting against everybody that it was Luke. They're all calling in, it's going to be Ahsoka. She's going to realize she's a Jedi and come and da-da-da. It's like, no.
It's not a strong payoff that way. It would have made sense, but it also would have been a bit dull. Like, okay, she's back. Good. Yeah. Great. Anyway, sorry. Yes, you liked it.
I'm not done my reaction.
I know.
I know. So anyway, yes, I was like, oh, and then there's another part, like after the part where I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I'll get to that when I get to that. Pretty much, maybe top of the desk over.
It broke the glass of the table. Shattered it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was such a fun episode because it gave us everything we've wanted for a long time and kind of expected from some movies that were released that I was hoping for anyway. And I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni do such a fantastic job writing these because they write these stories like I used to play with my Star Wars toys. Like the hero coming to save the day and his ship and all this stuff, and it's like and just that opening, like Slave One and the Lambda Shuttle, just that's what you did with the toys, man. Like shit you'd never expect to see because you didn't see it in the movies, but in your brain as a kid there's so much imagination, and they just put it all on film or digital, whatever it is, and put it in front of my eyeballs, and I loved it. So
and it's interesting because this episode shows us, and the show in general, but this episode is we know what fans would like to see, and let's tell a good story too, whereas the new feature films have been, we are going to tell you what you want. Here it is. People say, nah. Well, obviously, no massive political stuff, etc. All these overtones that are not needed or not wanted, particularly. And then that fails mediocrely. The second one, they tell us again, this is what you want. Half the fan base says, really isn't. You've ruined Star Wars. Third film, they say, oh, we will make something you want, but you've now got the worst base possible. Whereas this is the exact opposite. The only thing I guess you could say about this is that it's not very creative, but that's not Star Wars anyway. You know what I mean? Like, think about the first 3 films. You've got simple fairy tale rescue story, perfect, right? Second film is creative in a lot of different ways. Third film is kind of the first film again, just a little bit different. Like, there's a second Death Star, and it's just, they fight on the ground. Third is just rescuing a guy. Like, it's not that creative again in the story sense. So Star Wars has never been about that, ever. And so you shouldn't expect that from it, whereas Star Trek's the opposite. You expect the more intricate, complicated stuff. This you don't. So it's more about understanding the fan base, etc.
Yeah. Well, like I said, a near perfect episode, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. I was so excited. It was such a good watch. It made me feel good for the rest of the day. It definitely had that, I never thought I would actually see this after all the disappointments we've had kind of thing. So, yeah, perfect. Almost. We'll talk about that. The score will be interesting. What did you think, Sam?
Well, you made me watch
it.
I
told you.
Yeah.
I told you, go watch it because you don't want to be spoiled, and I'm glad you did, because I almost got spoiled a few times during the course of the day before I actually decided to watch it. So
yeah, everyone said they liked it, but that's not surprising. So that didn't tell me anything, which was useful. But we were all expecting AGI to turn up. That was the entire setup of last week or the week before. So obviously something was going to turn up, and I've been saying for weeks it makes sense to be Luke. So I was holding out the logical hope. But once you see the X-Wing, it's like a 60-40 chance. Because Ahsoka, why would she have an X-Wing? She may, but it's not exactly a good clue towards her. And as soon as you see the cloak, and I mean, they telegraph it. If you know the costume and the lightsaber, you know it minutes before. But of course you do. You're watching The Mandalorian, so it's not trying to be a reveal, but that's the best way of doing it. It's just like when do you work it out? Do you work it out with the X-Wing you recognize? Well, other people have X-Wings, or do you work? But I worked out very quickly. And that's good. Lets you have that anticipation moment for seconds as they drag it out. Just keep anticipating. You cross the fingers are crossed. You broke your fingers, the two crossed, and then you orgasm, and then the scene continues. But in terms of an episode, it's definitely one of their best, but that's not surprising. They always put more money in this than any other episode. Clearly. I mean, it's hands down the most expensive in terms of they use the full cast. They have actual sets and actual location. They use the digital sets, but you see the inside of a ship, a lot of it, and it feels better than any other episode they've ever seen in this season. The space fight is great at the start, the way they do the other dogfight, space battles. There's all the elements you want from a Star Wars. They've kind of been missing out lots of times, or doing really poor jobs. When Bo-Katan attacked the freighter, that was a piss poor set of shootout stuff. That was poor. This was not poor. Awesome. Dark Troopers were good. I appreciate the lore of saying, they're Mark IIIs, which instantly, for those who don't know about them, straight to Mark III, there's a story there, but if you know the expanded lore, it's like, we're going to make it actually real, going to bring it all together. Probably the only real critique is that the main character is, as always, less important than he could be, and doesn't have too much. If it hadn't have had the moment at the end, which is helmet off, it would have been, who the hell cares about Mr. Mandalorian? Really. That moment saves that thoroughly, because it was really lacking on his front. But that really did help, and that definitely added to his arc. And it was definitely a sad ending, good ending, nice twist with the blade. I forgot about all that. Well, I didn't know it, so I couldn't. I didn't see that coming, so that was nice. Although, as always, they took the ship too easily, etc. They should have done, but it was a better done firefight than the other ones. But it was still easy. But it was a better done easy, But I think it helped having so much variety and budget, which we have not had in other episodes. So it does a lot of the weaknesses of Mandalorian, but actually puts the money and time into crafting them better. But it just as Mandalorian tends to be, it's like 3 scenes. The whole thing is like 3 to 4 scenes. It's really, really simple, but again, it uses the money. And I wish they were all like this, with this grander scope that the Star Wars universe kind of is. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. The reveal was actually awesome, because I saw X-Wing, I'm like, oh, whatever, X-Wing pilot. Yay, we're saved. And then it comes into the bay, and then you see all the Dark Troopers turn around and get ready, and it's like, oh shit, is this a bad guy? Is this a Sith coming in or something that it's they're aware of? It's somebody they should be respecting, because they all turn and they hold their guns they're standing at attention.
That's just cinematic. There's no real logic there. No.
I'm just saying the reveal was awesome for that, because it's like, who is this? And you see on the black and white monitors, you see a cloak. It could be anybody, and then you see this lightsaber again. It could be any color. You don't know. It's black and white. But then, it's green lightsaber, and then you see the hand, and then you see the belt buckle, and you see, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a build up to, is it? And the final reveal, you see the hilt of the lightsaber as he hangs it up, and it's like, it's definitely Luke's. But are they going to do that? Does somebody else? It's right up to the end. It's that they've fucked us every time up till now, but it's just a perfect payoff. So it was an awesome reveal.
I appreciate I got it way earlier than you as well, because I recognized all the costume pieces. I was right on board instantly.
I knew right away who it was too.
You said you did. You said, oh, it's good. Oh, it's not the way you just explained it there. You're like, X-Wing, it could be anybody.
I'm just saying how they tried to do it.
No, I think they were being clever. I think they were saying, who it is instantly, but are you really gonna believe it? And besides, the guy didn't have to try, which is the fun bit. You know, he wasn't in a rush, wasn't trying very hard, kicked ass. Although, to be fair, it does. Again, these characters are the OP people, right? Of course, Boba Fett can win any space fight. He's Boba Fett. Blah blah blah. So the fact that Luke can take out what they've just set up to be the most powerful troopers in the galaxy without any effort at all, kind of diffuses them for any future seasons, because now they're shown not to be a threat. But obviously, he's the best Jedi in the galaxy, so of course they're not. So it's a weird, it's a fine line, because they brought in the biggest boss in the galaxy against the things that should be threats. So I'm hoping we see him next season and be threats again, because they didn't do a very good job setting them up, really. I wish they'd been in more episodes, because they were kind of introduced just to be killed, which is weird. You know?
And Joe, I very much doubt that. As soon as I saw the X-Wing, I shouted, hell yes, it's Red 5.
Red 5,
how did you know that?
Is it Red 5 the other one? Or is Luke Red 5?
He's Red 5. Anyway.
Super chat, Stuart.
Well, I'll get there in a second.
Okay.
I just want to say that wasn't even my favorite part, is when R2 showed up. It's just that sound, and I'm like, oh, that's it for me. Sorry.
And it's sad that in the Mandalorian TV show, there's the best R2-D2 than in 3 feature films in 8 years, and that's sad.
Yep, because he's the glue that holds Star Wars together. And I gotta admit though, the de-aging they did on R2 is perfect. He looks exactly like he should.
Well, that's where the money went. That's where the CGI budget went. Yeah, he's a bit haggard now with his rust, but boy, they polished it out well. Half it was makeup though on set. Half it.
Yeah, well, it's impressive.
And to be fair, Bib Fortuna, fat fuck, but boy,
And that, going back and watching the screen caps today, like we knew there was an after credits scene, right? So you're watching it, I'm watching it, and all of a sudden it says Bib Fortuna, Quique in the credits. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't miss the thing. What?
In the pre-credits?
Okay. Yeah. Huh. No, not the pre-credits.
Like they spoiled them in the credits.
Yes, before the and I'm like, if you were paying attention, which nobody really does half the time, but the names are there, and I'm like,
that's such a tease.
Yeah.
And that's honestly one of the best scenes in the entire episode, which is weird because it's not in the episode.
Yeah. ISFJ 1009 $5. This was what we all been asking for and wishing for. Absolutely. Merry Christmas. It's the end of the shitty year. Great Christmas gift.
And it's annoying because Mark Hamill looked good in Force Awakens, Last Jedi, when he was dyed his, filmed that 2 years earlier, and then maybe a little bit de-age or just some makeup. Like he could have easily have passed, and also lost a bit more weight. He could have been, amply young looking. Jesus.
Yeah. Stern Von Alk, $3.
Thank you.
There's a deep fake for the final scenes, and awesome. Yes, there is. Actually, just before I watched this episode, I watched a deep fake on YouTube by the same people that did Tarkin and Princess Leia.
Leia was a good one.
Using deep fake, and there's that's cool.
And deep fake takes a while to do, so the fact they did it in 2 days is quite. I mean, obviously, you can get a lot of views by doing it, obviously, but that's okay. Let me watch that now then. First reaction.
Eugene 100 rubles. This episode shows why the sequel trilogy should be put permanently into the Disney Carbonite vault. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they decanonize that stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they decanonize all of the books, But if they decanonize it, they've lost. They're never going to get Harrison Ford back. They're not going to get Carrie Fisher back, obviously. So you're kind of wasting all their last appearances. But hey, blame JJ and blame Kathleen Kennedy. Those are the ones to blame. So,
No, I'd blame Rian Johnson, then Kathleen Kennedy.
But JJ started it.
Yeah, but he didn't ruin it. He had it set up to
Still
maybe
a
be
shit
a good
story, though.
Good trilogy.
No, he could have done everything better. Just bad story from the get-go. Because I'm sure he also pitched the story, Jedi Temple, not a deadbeat dad. Come on. Not all the stuff that makes it bad.
Yeah, but they're setting up Luke to be whatever they wanted to be.
That's true. You could have a temple on that planet. That is true. That is fair. God, it's weird they made him thinner in Deepfake. He's thinner now. That's weird.
Yeah.
And Pedro looked fatter. That's great. Pedro's real fat that last scene. Oh yeah, wow.
Not fat. He's thick.
You put on a lot of weight
Eugene,
this year.
100 rubles.
Oh.
This episode shows why the sequel trilogy. Yeah, I read that one already. Sorry. ISFJ, 1009, $5. After watching at least 75 reviews of Chapter 16 and so many in happy tears, fans have had their love for Star Wars reaffirmed by Favreau and Filoni. Yes.
And it's not even like he's like, I know some people call it bad, like too much fan service, but he's the logical only one.
Yeah.
Like there's no one else you would do in that situation, so it's not fan service. It's a logical story progression. Now, if he's a main character in season 2 and is like, wow, cameo Luke, fine, but he's the only one that makes sense.
Yep. And I admit I'm not immune to fan service because that was what I wanted.
It pisses me off. It's not really fan service.
I know. Tenchi 2K7, $5. Luke, I had my lightsaber fight in a corridor like my father before me in Rogue One. So cool. Yes. Fleetbot Swiftback, $2. R2 Gasm face from Captain Foley. LOL. Oh yes. Yes, I wish I could have watched it first time with Sylvia, because she would have liked to have seen my first reaction, I think, to Luke and R2. But I had to, I know, I had to watch it in the afternoon before I got it spoiled for me. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So Mark Lawrence, $5. Can we get a Star Trek series with this much attention to detail and with this much love? Anyone else get a Maximilian vibe from the Dark Troopers? I didn't get a Maximilian vibe. I definitely got an Iron Man vibe. But yeah, I can see why people are saying Maximilian for that. And yes, we need a Star Trek series like this. People at CBS need to pay fucking attention.
A period piece, yeah.
Not a period piece, just the proper.
And it's sad because it's weird how it's the exact same thing. The way Patrick Stewart was portrayed in Picard was the same disrespect that Mark Hamill and those three paid in their films. Whereas in this, in this, it's like when if we bring Janeway back for Prodigy, have it be a continuation of the proper character. It's like, yeah, that's the Mandalorian. So we almost need. I mean, obviously Sisko is a bit crazy and can't come back. If he could come back and he came back just to be the same kick-ass guy, that's what you want. Or it's weird the disrespect these people show because they want to, I guess, be better. They want to undo the legends, and it just takes other teams to kind of raise them back up. But they wonder why fans stop watching your stuff and complain. But then again, bad press is still press. Hate views. I mean, how many channels get money off hate views? And that's because people hate the content, Oi.
Darth Duck puts in €2. Where is the Star Trek Filoni? Kurtzman? Sad. Well, no, the Star Trek Filoni is Seth MacFarlane, who approached CBS or Paramount and said, I'd like to do some Star Trek stuff. I think, I got some good ideas. And they said, go fuck yourself. And he said, fuck you. I'm going to go make Orville. So we got Orville.
Well, it's Lower Decks. I mean, that's the show,
Yeah, but we need a live action one, is what I'm saying. We need something like Seth MacFarlane would have done it right if he had the reins. So. Anywho. Well, let's get into it, I guess.
Okay.
Starts out awesomely with a Slave One versus a Lambda Shuttle battle. Chase, I guess not a battle really. But yeah, I mean, even so much as using an ion cannon to disable the shuttle. And
didn't know it had, which is nice.
No, it's really cool. They didn't know they had it either. Like, hit by an ion cannon, what? And then I love the pass of Slave One, canopy to canopy. Like, hey, how's it going, guys? But I want to know where they docked. Because you could take a Lambda Shuttle and a Slave One, try docking those things together. There's no docking ports on Slave One. There's a goddamn ramp. So I want to know how that happened. That's the reason they didn't show it.
It does. It's definitely a transporter sort of situation. I look at this, and they do go to Slave One a couple of times in the animated show, and you see a docking port, and it's implied. I mean, there's only so much room in the ship. Like, if they show a shape and it's a circle, there's only one thing it can be. So there's a back circle at the back,
top.
And it's like, but there isn't a place on Lambda. I mean, to be fair, they may have burned into the hull and then got in that way via their own docking. But yeah, it doesn't. But I mean, well, yeah.
Yeah, it went kind of quick for the docking. Like you heard the clunk
Yeah.
when the door opened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a clunk.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it makes sense for them to use these two ships. They can't really redesign them to include docking hatches just for the sake of thing you're not going to see.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really. But as CGI fights were going, it's great, and the CGI is gorgeous, and unfortunately, it does show that these are the best designs they ever made. Nothing after the fact ever beat these, and they were genius ones. It does kind of show though the you could say the crutch the Mandalorian's going on. This is only cool because it's these ships and these characters. If this was the sequel trilogy with similar looking ships, it wouldn't have the same vibe. But the thing is, you said in this universe, in this timeline, you're allowed to play with that, and therefore you get to have the cool. So that's okay because it makes sense, and it's a really well done space fight. And this is all relatively cheap CG in terms of the grand scheme of things, but adds so much production value to the show. We need more of this. So yeah, it was great. It was flawless. I mean, this was flawless, certainly.
And look, Samuel, they're not updated in any way. They're exactly as they appeared, as we've seen them before.
Oh yeah,
in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
I don't buy this is from thousands of years ago. Terrible. Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah, and then the inside of the shuttle even looks fantastic. I like the design there. The lighting looks good. So yeah, we've basically got a standoff here, and the one guy's like, "Hey, I'm not even with him. You know, we can talk." And he gets shot in the back,
which is a lovely little moment.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, dropper."
Yeah.
Talks about the top tier Imperial target. He's a clone engineer. If you know. Then he starts mentioning Alderaan, and he knew he was from Alderaan because of the little tear tattoo, which is a little rebel tattoo. Oh. And then he's going, "I was on the Death Star." Which one? Ha ha ha! Funny. Millions of people died on the Death Star. Who cares? So you were lucky.
Well, their families care.
You were one of. I don't care. You were one of the shuttle pilots that was off shuttling somebody somewhere.
Oh
when
yeah,
it blew up. You got lucky, I guess. Anyway, he goads her on, and she's literally like 5 feet from him with a blaster pointed at his face, and he keeps goading her on. Like, she's going to shoot you in the face. She's got you locked in. I don't care if you're holding a hostage. Well, sure enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's it's every scene in every movie ever, but it reverses it, which is good. I mean, she doesn't get. I mean, there's so many characters in this week. None of them get like too much. They get a little bit. It's an ensemble piece where they're also doing a set thing. But this scene is her golden scene, and I appreciate they did this. This is where the episodes should and should be longer, because these sorts of scenes are what you want. In the universe, a bit of addition. They're cheap, they're easy, they're simple, they're very, very effective. They give some great context. You've never heard this perspective before. And I like his genuine frustration, because obviously, to your perspective, the terrorists successfully killed millions of your brethren for what? For galactic chaos? How many people have they killed? It's not okay, is it?
Yeah.
And his acting is great here. But the fact that he killed his quote-unquote friend shows that, it's like, of course you meet dirtbags in crime groups because they hire dirtbags. Like, it takes a certain sort of person to be in this group. Which is why it's so odd when the clone guy then just tells him everything later on with no motivation to it. That's a very strange scene. We'll get there in a minute. But yeah, definitely fun, this bit. Definitely fun.
Yeah. I gotta say, the Mando, when he turns around, he got the blue light on him. That looked great too. That would also make a good thumbnail for the episode.
Well, that could be any episode though.
I know, but anyway, looks good. Looks good.
As do these beautiful planet shots. It's not Tatooine, which is nice. The way it lands, just really, really nice. I did recognize the ship, but I didn't know where from that's landed. So I was like, it's somebody. I mean, you know who's going to be, but it's somebody.
Well, interestingly enough, when Slave One lands, you see the guns like fold forward, which I thought was cool. But then later when we see it, they're pointing up, which is what they pretty much always are when it's landed. So I don't know if it's a mistake or if they pointed them up when they decided to go back on board later. Even though it's still landed, but
also it only takes they only take like a second before landing to walking out, so they're actually landing on autopilot and they're actually waiting at the ramp because they couldn't possibly get from the cockpit down.
But then two Mandalorians walk into a bar and you're like,
I said that out loud.
Yep. But then it's not that bad because there's already 2 there. So everybody in the bar is like, you think, oh shit, there's Mandalorians here. Oh shit, there are some sitting there already. Oh well.
This is a Mandalorian reunion or something? Jesus. And
It's
I like.
Mandalorian Monday.
Yup. And I
They
like.
get a discount. So.
Yeah, well, it's happy happy hour. And I like they reuse a lot of their own prosthetic makeup from early in the season in this, so it feels like a nicely diverse cantina. And it doesn't even feel like the Circle Room CG set, so I'm confused. It's probably a redress from another episode, but I couldn't quite place it. So I was quite
I think
pleased.
it's the same bar setup as the very first episode, just redone a bit. So
that was good. And boy, it's weird to see this many Mandalorians in one place. Just contextually, it's really, really quite cool.
Well, I love how even he's like, "We need your help," and she's like, "Not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Some of us have a higher purpose." And then the whole, "You're not a Mandalorian." Never said I was.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a fun back and forth with these guys.
Mm-hmm. Although again, Boba is too overweight really to make the suit look good. Like he'll never look as good as he did when he first wore it. It's better than it was, but I wish they could do something to make it fit, like to work better. Because you can see in this shot, like the armor doesn't go down as far as it should do. So they should have done something to tweak it. It looks better, but hey, maybe for his season. Because these things are shot quite quickly, so hopefully for next season he'll be able to lose some weight, and then just because he suits it well, just not as good as it should do. Yeah.
There is a slight mistake.
Oh.
But it's an editing. It's not that big a deal. When he says, when she says, "I didn't know sidekicks were allowed to talk," he's like, "Well, if that isn't the Quokta calling the Stifling slimy." Anyway, as you got the over the shot shoulder of him, his missile finder thing is like this. It's kind of, but it's corrected in the next one, so it's not a big deal. But I just noticed that the first time, so yeah. And then those 2 go at it,
which I found a little bit odd because it does. I think they play a little bit too much that she can beat Boba Fett quite easily. Which again, I mean, he's obviously rusty. But I think they shouldn't have make it so one-sided. Like he does at the end, match her.
He does the exact same move that he did in Return Jedi.
Yeah.
And then uses his other arm to that was good.
She flips him just effortlessly. It was one step.
That's because she used her backpack.
Okay.
She had help to flip him. Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that was very quick.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a little bit sad that you could say it was the classic modern day where the women has to beat the men and show how much better. Rey's got to defeat Luke to show she's better than Luke and all of our old heroes. The new Mandalorian's got to beat Boba, who's the most powerful Mandalorian we ever knew, just to show women are better. I wish the balance was better here. Like they almost save it at the end. Luckily he saves it at other scenes. And the double fire was definitely a really nice oh god damn, this is gonna be. Ooh.
But the whole we know where Moff Gideon is. We have the coordinates. Well, if I want that ship. I want his ship to retake Mandalore. So that's part of the deal. I thought was nice. Even when Boba Fett said Mandalore has been turned to glass by the Empire, and she's like, "Well, you're a disgrace to your armor." And then the whole "this belonged to my father" thing. So, you mean your donor? I've heard that voice thousands of times. And I'll be the last one you hear. It was good. It was so good.
It was a beautiful use of the canon.
Yeah.
And obviously Boba's never had this canon-y reference. In the original trilogy, he was just a guy. So this is now decades worth of additional lore packed back into the scene. And I was watching, I don't often watch this stuff, but Star Wars Theory did a breakdown and explained why there's so much information here with the negativity. And yeah, he's a clone of a famous Mandalorian, and therefore this is, sacrilege in a sense. So it was a pretty
copy.
Yeah, it's in it's weird context. And you can imagine he definitely stays away from Mandalorians because they're similar. They don't like him for that. But obviously, she also fought loads of clones and fought with clones back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great lore. Although it does show how little the Mando himself gets in these scenes. Like everyone else always has more personality. He's good in this scene. But I still wish they'd pumped his role up a bit more. I get the feeling each season they'll get more from now on when they'll show his face more and more. I think we're going to push over to that role. Hopefully. Cross the fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say that frame you were on just a second ago, with the three of them standing there and Boba Fett after the fight.
Mm-hmm.
His belt is hiked up, so the armor doesn't look as gaping
Yeah,
between the belt
yeah,
and so that looks a lot better. So if they could keep
yeah.
that look, you know,
It's just a matter of balance, because you're right. He looks like a Dave Bautista kind of bulk guy rather than
yeah,
oh my belly. It's close.
yeah.
And it's not also good when the three of them are quite thin and good in their armor, and he's like clearly not appropriate for the armor. Although I wonder if it was actually him in it, because there's no reason he would need to be in it for this scene. We know that the other guy wouldn't be.
I think it probably is him.
I would hope so. Yeah. Well, he never got to play the physicality, so it'd be nice if he got to redefine the physicality. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Kyle Wong, 10 pounds.
Ooh, thank you.
I just need to say this and what everyone is saying. The last 20 minutes of this episode is hands down better than the complete last trilogy. And I admit I started crying when I saw the... Yeah. Even I got some feels.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I'd love to know where that 20-minute, if you actually mean literally 20 minutes, because it is just one fight in a ship. And it is just, massaging the original series fan in all of us. So I'm wondering how far back that 20 minutes goes, because there's good stuff before that. So, when we start to get to the second half, we'll see where that sort of line is. But it's a good setup so far. And the fact that we are changing locations, lots of characters. I like we didn't use the guy from the first episode. Nothing felt forced here in terms of characters, which wasn't always the case last year. So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Then we get the Slave 1 shot. That's a great shot with the three ships there, the Lambda Shuttle.
Yeah, yeah.
But there the guns are pointing up. Like I said, when they parked, they pointed forward. So whatever, not a huge deal.
And that just looks so good. Just like technically...
Yes.
And the Lambda got... I mean, although it does show the radical difference in art design with the newer Rebels Clone Wars ship on the left, like how different stylistically. But it's actually an older design as well. That's actually, from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, boy.
And Kyle Wong puts another 10 pounds. So thank you. What's more frustrating is that Disney could have made 3 outstanding films, but completely dropped the ball because of shoehorned politics and political correctness.
And it's annoying because you could have had Rey be Luke's apprentice, so learn from him and be the best.
Yeah.
Then you've got it solved, Although one of the channel was saying that the original story was that Luke was actually giving Rey the instructions through the Force. The original JJ Part 2 film. And that explains why she can do everything, because he's kind of Force not controlling her, but like giving her abilities, and therefore when to allow her to survive, which would have been great as well. Because at the end of the day, Luke should be the best.
You're the best, best.
Because he can train her better, but he should be the best. He saved the galaxy / Leia did, or make Leia the best. But she has no training, so.
TMA puts in $2. Get Tamara Morrison a girdle. He'll lose 20 pounds. Yeah, he needs a Kirk girdle.
I just think that they didn't realize how big he'd be in the outfit until they got him on set, and it was too late for him to lose weight that quickly. I think that's all it is. Like, they didn't quite guess how he would look. He wouldn't need to lose much. Wouldn't have to lose much. Just enough. Yeah.
So here we get the outline of the plan.
It's so nice being Slave 1, Stuart. I like ships. This is nice.
Yeah.
This makes me happy
absolutely.
on the inside.
Yeah, literally on the inside, pardon the pun. So yeah, Moff Gideon's cruiser would generally be a pilot, or not piloted, but staffed by hundreds of troopers. That's not really the case. There's a tiny fraction of that now, and the other guy's like, well, it's kind of misleading. He goes, just there's some dark troopers on board, and that kind of makes up for the lack of not a lot of stormtroopers. I kind of like that he was helpful because he really has nothing to lose at this point. And he was never a baddie. He's a scientist. He wants to do his sciencey stuff. This is just the field he got into. He's a cloner. And I love how there's a big chunk missing out of his ear, by the way, from the shot. But oh yeah. But yeah, I don't have a problem with him helping them. It's like he actually felt bad for the little guy in the last time we saw him when he was taking blood from him. He didn't want the child hurt when Mandalorian showed up. So I kind of like the characters, still being helpful. I didn't have an issue with it.
I think my issue stems from we don't know who he is or why he is. He's only ever been set up as scientist man for Empire. And yes, Rogue One showed us you can be coerced to be science man, but also most of them aren't. So we don't know, and they haven't set him up enough to be able to then pay it off as being, nah, he's actually nice. And so for me, I was thinking, oh, he'd lead them into a trap, obviously, because he gives no reason for his betrayal. Like, I just needed one line, like maybe man to say, why are you helping us? Well, I don't like Gideon, I just like the science, or something. Or, it needed one line, otherwise it's just because the story needs him. And that's not good enough because you don't know him. It's just, they missed a one beat. Just one.
I disagree. I think that was like the first time, well, not the first time we saw him, but like when Mando gets the kid back and he's like, don't hurt the kid, don't hurt the baby, or whatever he said. He was down on the ground. So it shows that he cares about his subjects. He doesn't want to hurt it. So I kind of get the feeling that he's just a scientist guy.
But he doesn't know. Sorry.
I was gonna say I thought it was delivered perfectly. Like, he's got glasses. People with glasses aren't bad people.
But he but then he obviously thinks he's fine with Moff Gideon, else he wouldn't have got him to Moff Gideon, and he's currently with Moff Gideon, and so instead letting a bunch of bounty hunters and mercenaries steal him who may hurt him. You know what I mean? Like, this is the unknown, whereas Gideon, he is safe. Like,
he's one of those slimy guys that.
But we don't know that, though. That's the problem.
Well, he'll do whatever he needs to do to save his own skin. Like, it's pretty obvious. He's not a tough guy. He's just a guy that's just doing his thing. He'll help whoever whatever get him out of the situation.
But also, actually, it also shows that Moff Gideon is not a imposing baddie, because he gets normally these scenes. Oh, he's gonna kill me. There's no sense of that. Which again, Gideon is not impressive in this episode. He never has been. I don't think necessarily will be. This guy just proves he's not a particularly difficult baddie. Like, there's Moff Gideon, who cares? Like, he's just, I don't know. He's the Moff that happened to get my garrison. I don't care about him, So it devalues Gideon even more. But do you care about him? No. Why would you?
I do. I like him.
Moff Gideon? I mean, he's best.
Oh, not Moff Gideon. He comes off a little bit nicer in this episode than I thought too, but then also doubles down on the douchiness. Yeah. So.
But it'd be kind of. I'd appreciate if Moff Gideon is just kind of like we think he's a baddie, but really, like, he's at the low end, and therefore this guy, But like I said, just one line would have been what I need. One line. Yeah.
Louis Julius, $2 Puggy treats for the Star Wars Universe Puggy. Thank you. And Oi Governor throws in £5. I don't mind Boba fatter. He's a clone. They age badly in Rebels. They did the same at the end of the day. It's just so great to have him back.
Yeah, except he was fighting in the desert sands for years. I don't think he's going to be eating loads. You don't tend to see fat Tatooinians.
Those crate dragons, those are high in cholesterol. So,
and stringy,
the Jawas can eat it. Yeah, the Jawas can eat it. The sand people can eat it. They're designed to eat it. But the humans, if they eat too much, they get fat.
But you know what I mean, though. Like, he wasn't as if he was just hanging out for 20 years retiring. He fought his way out of a Sarlacc pit and then barely stayed alive for. Well, we don't actually know, but
Anyway, I like how he tells them about the troopers that are now droids.
Yes, very canny.
Human inside was the final weakness to be solved.
His dialogue is great. His acting's great. I just need that one line, because it's definitely a nice way of sort of skipping, because they didn't really set up what the Dark Troopers were at all last week. So at least they just felt like, oh, this is what they are. We're like, okay, but no one bats an eyelid. So clearly they've all knew about Mark 1 and 2, which I like. Yeah. Like, it's just part of the universe.
They probably hear whisperings of it and stuff. So,
well, as people very, very vocally said to me last week, why would Bill Burr know who Boba Fett is? News doesn't really travel. And so, by the same argument, I'm going to say now, Dark Troopers, no one knows about them. So they just know them because they don't care. Because who cares? Word either spreads or doesn't spread. And most famous bounty in the world is more famous than just a new trooper.
Yeah, but he was assumed dead, though, for years. At least 6 years at this point. So.
But he was active for 25, so...
Yeah, but if you hear somebody's dead and somebody shows up wearing the same costume as him, you're not going to think it's him. You're going to be like, who the fuck are you and why did you get Boba's costume? Anyway.
He didn't say that either, so...
But they don't have them powered up because they take up too much energy, I guess. So
Yeah,
draw too much power. So
and they overheat and break and stuff if you keep them on too much. Which you know how I don't like God Tech, so introducing a weakness to them straight away was great. And the fact is, a lot of the time these sorts of weapons are, you send them in, they massacre, they turn off. They're not going to be long-term fighters. You want them to kick ass and then, move on. That's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the plan is they're going to split up. Mandalorian wants to go on his own, so the other ones are going to be a distraction. They're going to basically draw the attention to them. Mandalorian's going to slip to the brig and on his way take out the dark troopers before they get powered up completely, because there should be enough time for that.
But I do like the ambiguity, because you can tell as the audience there isn't going to be enough time, but it's because they're optimistic they blow through it. You know what I mean? It's a well played, like, it'll work. Sure, moving on.
Yeah. Well, they even say, like, will he have enough time to do it? Probably. Yeah. Like,
It's an easy setup, but the way they handle it is like, well, hey, we're the best of the best. We're fine. It's like, yeah, but if one thing goes wrong, guys, that's all it took. One thing. That's okay.
Yeah. So they get his code cylinder, and so they can deactivate or get rid of the dark troopers. And then we got a great shot of Slave One and the Lambda Shuttle in hyperspace, which is cool.
Never seen before. I could see it coming a mile away, this sort of shot, as soon as they show it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Stuart, that looks like hyperspace.
Hey, it should.
Not like some recreation or invention, just like hyperspace. Yeah.
It could just be like streaking stars. Like, you got to reinvent hyperspace, don't you?
Or make it red.
Yeah. It's sub hyperspace.
And what's amazing about this scene in particular is that they are actually looking at hyperspace in the cockpit, and so all the lights are real and all the shots outside are real, and so you get really tangible. Like, it's so dark and moody, but it's like that is actually what the lighting would be in real life, because they're actually being presented with exactly the right thing. So I love the effect there. Same with Boba, exactly the same thing. It looks really, really good.
Yeah. So they're finalizing the plan here. Basically, watch out for the deck cannons. Make it look real. You just mind your own business. I'll do what I got to do. Don't worry about a princess. Love how he calls her that. But yeah, they exit hyperspace, and he keeps missing. I mean, that's part of the plan. I know. Not that the Lambda Shuttle is that big of a target. Actually, from the back, it's very thin. So not a big deal. But I mean, later, once the TIE fighters launch, as he's flying away from them, he points the guns back and takes them both out right away. Like, how can you take out 2 TIE fighters, but you've been chasing this thing for so long? So I thought Moff Gideon was going to clue the hell in that this was a trap.
I mean, he does, because he does go down to Baby Yoda. So he does.
Yeah, that's after they crash into the bay and start shooting stormtroopers.
Well, I think the whole time he's confused, because they're not expecting a ship. So an unknown ship has unknowingly found them without warning, being trapped.
No, it was on its way. It had the scientists.
Oh, well, yes.
He was supposed to rendezvous with the scientists. We heard that 2 episodes ago.
Okay. I forgot that,
yeah. Kyle Wong, 5 pounds.
Again,
I would have loved to see Bill Burr's character in the last episode, ironically, fighting with a bunch of badass feminists.
I mean, I'm not sure what he would have done, though. It was already too easy, so I don't think... I can see why they didn't bring him. It was already too padded, like too many people. He would have just been there doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, give us 10 more minutes. Novel idea.
But they start launching TIE fighters, which is cool. And I love how when they launch them, it's like a Viper from Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
Because we got Starbuck on the shuttle.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And it's great CGI. It gives it a nice big feel that we just haven't had for every episode. And it does show that we're missing space combat, which is a hallmark of Star Wars in The Mandalorian. We are really missing that. This is a really basic bitch dogfight. Light cruiser, 3 TIE fighters, or 2 TIE fighters, which is nothing, but it's still played as a threat, which I like. These are still imposing until they're not, but yeah, nicely handled.
Kevin Scott, 76, $2. I wear glasses. I knew I was a good person, right? It's the truth. Yeah, I mean, the whole TIE fighter launch sequence was great. I really enjoyed that.
It's
and then
they
and they aim right for the launch tube, and they're like, the TIE fighters are like ducking out of the way, like, what are you doing? And they call them off. They're like, get out. But a typical Imperial officer, They're like, no, we're under attack.
It's true.
But then later we see bays on the side of the ships. There's a bay on each side, and there's also a bay underneath.
But they're not TIE fighter bays.
Okay, fair enough. That's like a launch tube. I get that, but
yeah, there are other things. This is a light cruiser. They're for like cargo things, little freighter stuff. Yeah, they're for personnel and cargo.
Yeah,
these things aren't designed for fighter combat, which is why it's a good choice to have it.
Yeah, Zamir Patois, 2 pounds. Kind of convenient. Boba fucked off after and avoided Luke. Yeah, I expected him to come back at some point to kind of save the day because he just buggered off, and there's nothing chasing him. There's no TIE fighters still out there. He just hyperspaced out, and it's like, why? Well, after a certain point, once they got control of the bridge, he should have been coming back because they wouldn't be fired at with the deck guns or anything, right? So,
I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that. He wasn't needed for the story.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it until the end. I'm like, where the hell did he bugger off to? What the hell?
Like, he's been very taking command-y, so I can always see it as this represents the I've now served my purpose. It's up to you, kid. Which is what he does. I mean, he leaves because is the sniper in the scene? The Asian lady, she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he hasn't effed off yet, but I can see it as being like, yeah. I mean, you've got enough firepower. You don't really need me, although
But they do though when the Dark Troopers show up, right? Like he should have been out there picking them off as they go on at the bay.
Oh, that would have been good. That would have been
as soon as they went out, I'm like, they fly now, guys.
They fly now.
They're just droids. So I expected them to come back.
I guess Poe never fought Dark Troopers then, because they fly.
Well, and as soon as they go out of the bay, they should have lit up and came right in the ship. Like it shouldn't have been this big. We're being boarded. How many life forms? None. Like I saw that coming.
Don't think about that, Stuart. Please don't think about that.
Sergeant Roadkill, 5 pounds. Basic bitch fight, but better than everything we got in the sequel trilogy. Love the catapult World War II-esque fighter launches. Yep.
Yes.
And yeah, it's also very Battlestar Galactica, which is awesome because we got Starbuck here flying the shuttle, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Olivia Julius, $5. Did you know you can buy Trekyards socks on the Teespring store? Check the link in the subscription below. You can. And that's the oldest joke ever, but you decide which one you make crusty. Eric Sween, $5. I enjoyed seeing Luke Skywalker in R2-D2. Absolutely, yes, we will get there. We're getting there soon.
Did not. But one thing I enjoyed seeing was the big bay. You can tell there is a difference. Like it looks incredible, but you can feel that everything's one dimension depth because there is. They are people with some pieces, then everything's a flat background. So it is like you can tell quickly, especially the scenes which have more depth. The depth does not come through properly because there is no depth, but you get so much scale, and if you go quick enough, like I want to see these scenes. I want to see an officer in a full hangar with stormtroopers. Whereas green screen it would feel 3D because it's actually rendering as depth. So you start to see like how the effect is different. But like the lighting's brilliant. I don't think they can really fix that.
Bixby voice privacy contents have been updated.
Thanks, Bixby. Appreciate you interrupting me.
No, but the shuttle crashing was a great scene as well, and I love that. The officer out there like, stop with the TIE fighter. The TIE fighter like, poof. You see the pilot waiting like, what the hell? I mean, it's just so well done. Eugene, 100 rubles. Ship interior scenes, hangar storage, elevators are so Jedi outcast. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about this is that when the Lambda crashes in, the CGI is not as good. The shuttle does not look good in this sequence. It looks very, very fake crashing in. Don't know why. That's the only caveat. The lighting's not good. Whatever. Don't know. But that's something about it. Maybe the motion blur. But I don't know. But everything else is good.
Oi, Governor, 2 pounds. Can't wait for season 3. Please keep it up, John. Yes. Well, it's not a year from now, so we got a year to wait. So, but yeah, then he takes out the 2 TIE fighters. I do like it's not much of a dogfight scene, but I love how he's flying away and the guns point back, and like that was pretty cool. And then he hyperspaces out.
He
Like
pieces
a bit.
out. Yeah.
And then the clear the launch tube. Get that thing out of here. I almost expected like close the doors, open the doors, open the blast doors, that kind of thing going on.
Or they say, "Can you help us in here?" They walk out in stormtrooper outfits. It's kind of presented like those classic scenes. But you know, this image is so drilled into our brain of the Imperial shuttle and them coming down, and it looks great. You know, it's cool. I mean, again, their OP is all hell, so there's no tension here. But because the set looks so good and it's like so big in scale, it's just fun to watch. These are just fun scenes. You know, they're not like amazing, but they're fun. You know, fun mass murder.
Well, they get right to the point and they start taking out the stormtroopers. They debark. And it's very to the point. They're taking the stormtroopers down. Boom, boom, boom. And again, I was getting a little sick of it. Just the stormtroopers are such bitches. I mean, even later, they shoot a bunch of them in one of the cargo bays and start walking away. And then the stormtroopers that come up behind them. There they are. We got to say that we're behind them instead of shooting them.
It's a bit better this week because there's so many of them. But yeah, I mean, they really need to look at that in season 3, like just working at all hard to make them more impressive. They've really let the stormtroopers down this year. Like even the clones felt better, you know. But yeah.
Well, the clones would get hit and get damaged and have to it wasn't one shot, one kill.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And that's what the armor's for. That's why it's armor. But anyway.
But speaking of one shot, one kill, we get these awful close-ups. These clearly 1970 button panels that look like wood and plastic. I mean, I don't know why you think they hold up today. I mean, who thinks that a panel with no interfaces, some buttons and some static lights? I mean, come on, Stuart. They should have visually updated it. They should have changed it. They should have had holograms. I mean, come on.
Yep. There's not even any labels. You don't know what any button does. It's just. It's like these people are trained for these posts.
It looks like what it is. An old 70s TV show movie that shouldn't be still in. We're joking.
Should have a big sarcasm alert thing flashing on screen when we do that because people might take us seriously.
Basically, we're saying make Star Trek like Star Trek. Cool.
Then we see the Dark Troopers starting to get powered up, and I got to admit, it's kind of cool sequence. I love the dubstep music. It's like, wow, that's interesting. But it works for the scene.
And this is how they should have been introduced last week, or even I will say with the first time we saw them when you couldn't tell what they were in their hangar bay thing. Like to have a setup work, you have to set them up. You can't just show a visual you don't understand and have people guess. Like this is great, and it does feel a bit too the whole thing CGI. Like you know what I mean? It's a bit too CGI-y, but that's okay. I'd rather it be impressive than build 2 people in a room. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's fine. And
Sergeant Roadkill makes an interesting point. Also, what happened to the pilot in that TIE fighter? Yeah, I looked later. You see the TIE fighter that's there. The hatch is open. There's nobody in it. So I don't remember them shooting a TIE fighter pilot. But anyway, he got out somehow. It's fine.
Well thought. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Then we got Boba. Oh my God. Mandalorian coming out of the shuttle.
Awesome visuals, really, really nice.
And I love how there's going to be so many toys of the Mandalorian because this is one with just a little blaster and the spear.
Yes.
He doesn't have his big gun. He doesn't have,
Yep.
But looks good.
I love this corridor. The
oh yeah.
The bay thingy. But given they know they have Dark Troopers, it makes sense to have a bay like this to let them loose. Like there's probably just a Dark Trooper bay,
I love how when they engage the stormtroopers here, one of them falls through the force field.
Yeah.
Very well done. And the 2 Mandalorians, as soon as they come out, are gone, and then it's pretty impressive.
And again, it does feel very OP, but it's a great strategy, so it works. Yeah, it's good. It's good, and it feels like a big budget set. It's a digital set, but it has that feel that the rest of the season's missed. Where has the money been? This episode, way more.
Yeah, and we've been asking that, like, are they saving up for something big at the end? And they kind of did.
They kind of did, yeah. I mean, they reused a lot of stuff as well, but yeah, this one feels absolutely more money. Although it does feel a bit redundant. Mando stealthily avoiding two people they can kill with 2 shots. Like, the stealthing doesn't really work in this context. I wish he just murdered them, honestly. Like, there's no point. You know,
Somebody get a sound clip of Commander Kraken saying that. I wish he just murdered them. You could use that for something.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, why bother? You got
Yeah,
bulletproof armor and guns that can kill in 1 hit. Why bother? The alarm's already on.
They're only stormtroopers. They're not going to hit you. And if they do,
Yeah.
it's going to be fine. And you can just kill them with 1 shot each.
Yeah. See, that'd be fine if they were presented an enemy and 2 look cool. It's like, what was it that one of the recent Star Wars where it made 1 thing feel impressive again? Oh, yeah, no, the end of Mandalorian Season 1. Like, Gideon's 1 TIE fighter was a threat all of a sudden. Even though in every other scene they're, destroyed.
Yes.
I was like, oh, brilliant.
Yes.
1 is cool.
Yeah. And it wasn't a special one. It was just like the regular TIE fighter. So.
Well, those wings could fold up, which is really cool.
Well, they all can now.
Well, yeah, the current gen, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then we see all the things detached from the Dark Troopers, and they all get out. And I love the uniform nature, like all working together. Works really well.
Yep. The only slight contextual issue here is that part of why the Dark Troopers were cool is because they were people as well. We've already had the Clone Wars where we fought droids, and we saw they were ineffective because you killed them. Now, obviously, the super ones were slightly more effective. Droidicas, especially, they're actually very, very effective. But droids are not terribly effective per se. I appreciate these guys are basically just armored with bulletproof armor as well. That's why they're effective.
Well, if they make an animated show with these guys, these are going to be the stupid ones. Like one thing I've noticed with Clone Wars, Roger, like they're just so stupid.
That was weird. Yeah, that was a very. Well, it's a kid. It started as a kid show, so you know.
I know you need the I know, but it just almost every episode there's like stupid droids.
And they run and they yell and it's a bizarre tonal shift. Battle droids, murderous killer droids. Oh, that's what there's a I don't know. Like, oh, okay.
Roger. Anywho.
You get another great big CGI room.
It's a big cargo bay. It's awesome.
But because it's still the exact same filming set, but it has an amazing scope. Excellent. Good. Correct.
And I love here too the way they're taking them down. They're not all taking them down with blasters. The one, she even like hides behind a thing for a second and then stands up and approaches. I mean, he doesn't see her because they don't have good peripheral vision. So she just grabs him and takes him down. It's like, yes, that's awesome. They can't see everything, obviously. Everybody complains about when they put on a stormtrooper helmet that they can't see in the things. That's why they can't hit anything, I assume. But
yeah. Why not just that? It's fun because it's a better way of having. Unlike the last time where we saw Ahsoka kill every person in a one-on-one, this feels more like cat and mouse because everyone is on the ground. Yeah. Everyone's got a blaster. Our heroes aren't wearing armor. We've not set up that Mandalorians have Beskar, so they aren't wearing bulletproof as far as we are concerned. Only that's the point. He is bulletproof, you know. So they're equally stanced, except they're obviously better trained. So I like this version of cat and mouse a lot more. And this is one of the better shootout fight bits in the whole thing. I thought it was a really good balance actually.
Yeah, and this is good to the end where they start walking away, and then you hear a stormtrooper. There they are. Why would you even say anything? Why would you say anything? Just start shooting at them from behind. But it's one of those conceits that the stormtroopers always say something or whatever, right?
Well, they've got a reputation to uphold.
It's not a good reputation, but they got to uphold that shit. Yeah.
Part of their code of conduct. In combat, die.
If you have the advantage, say something stupid so that you can give away your location.
Yeah. Turns out, the actual point of being a stormtrooper is to become a Force ghost. That's part of the sales pitch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah. So again, the Dark Troopers all come out, line up, and they look pretty impressive, I gotta say. I did definitely get Iron Man or what's his name? What's the bad guy? The bad Iron Man guy.
Bad Iron Man?
Ultron vibes from the arm.
Ultron, is it?
Then we get the droid, which is a nice touch because this silver droid, his left leg is gold. So C-3PO was gold with a silver left leg in the first movie.
Oh my goodness.
This guy's silver with C-3PO's leg Nice subtle little touch, and you can't really see it.
No,
'cause
you
they
can't.
kinda-
That's great.
But they've released. I saw it on Facebook earlier. They released a full like shot of it, and the one leg is gold. It's like perfect. See, little shit like that is good.
And is this the same droid? No, that was the droid. That droid was the R2 C3PO unit, wasn't it? They're in the school.
Oh, this is definitely different. This had the more bug-like head, which we've seen a few times. So.
Well, it's the Imperial version, the more menacing. Yeah, that was a nice touch. And these corridors also look better. Something about these sets, there's just more money and refinement put in. It just works better.
Yeah, but these are the same ones like the base that was on Tatooine, wasn't it? Like these are the same corridors.
Well, not Tatooine, but the other one. But yeah, they're similar. I don't know. You would assume they'd have to be, but that was also just boring in comparison. I don't know. It just works better here. Something about it's just directed differently. That's all it is. It's shot and directed differently. You know.
Yeah, but we got an M&A fighter on staff here, so we need her gun to jam, so she can do some MMA
Space
takedowns.
jam. Wait.
It's a plasma rifle. How can it jam? Whatever.
Well, Stuart, the real question is, what does God need with a starship? Equally dumb question and two different things.
Right.
Sorry. Not a good joke alert.
Yeah, so she's got some stormtroopers down. It's good to see.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
back.
And it's more just visual variety. That's all it is. And it's fine. It's nice. And I know people are going to point out it's for women fighting. I think someone said also they're like all in their 40s or something. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Didn't even occur to me. Like, they're just, all of them are goodish characters, apart from the other Mandalorian lady who know nothing about.
But the Asian lady, I can't remember her name. She's 57.
Wow.
She looks amazing for 57.
And to be fair, though, she hasn't really get any close-ups this week because she's not a primary in a scene, which obviously helps. But yeah, I mean, they're all good. I'm glad she's in the Boba Fett show. Like, there was a reason to bring her back. It wasn't just because it felt just because. But there's, good for them.
Oi, Governor throws in £2. Got a few friends to join the channel. Merry Christmas. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome, friends. Yours and mine and one and all. Yes.
But the Mando gets to the troopers and they're starting to launch. And it's like, no. Closes the doors, blasts one through the door, and then you see the hands come out, and I'm like, oh shit. I expected it to like push the doors open and them all to come spilling out, which would have been awful. But again, that's very Iron Man. Seeing those hands like that, like.
Okay, so I both love and I don't like this scene. I only don't like it for one reason, right? Because it's just a Terminator fight. Like, how they move, a lot of the shots, like the way that everything about this movie is Terminator, verbatim. Yeah. It's a very uncreative unit, but he is just a droid the shape of a human. What else can you do? I wish it didn't just feel like a Terminator fight.
I gotta say, it's a damn good thing that his helmet's made of Beskar.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that was gruesome.
I expected the glass to crack or something in his helmet.
Yeah.
Because the glass isn't Beskar. And it's,
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
And anyway, that was impressive. Like seeing his head go back and all of a sudden.
Yeah. And it's great because each time you're waiting for that moment where the armor is dented, thinking, oh, it's that strong. But you're actually satisfied when it's not. Although I can imagine, though, the kinetic force inside his brain is, he should be dead by the kinetic force anyway.
Yes, except I think there's probably like inertial dampeners or something. Because every time they take the helmet off, you hear the Darth Vader sound.
Which I'm fine with as long as we retcon back into the one where he gets drowned that he actually is fine. Because I'm sorry, it doesn't have inertial dampeners and isn't airtight. Yeah. So that sequence again, a bit shit. This one, much better. But like I said, I just wish it wasn't a Terminator-y. It's very, very But I like the fact that Gideon, because one escaping fine with, and it's nice, and this is how you should do these sorts of fights where you set up how strong it is to then defeat it later on. Without the scene, it wouldn't have worked. I like the fact that this door is blast door. Like, these big guys just can't just get through it. They're not using their gun. All they can do is their fist, which shows they're strong enough. Their armor is what they've got going for them, They're obviously a robot strength man, but the armor is so strong, they are not going to get damaged. But I like the fact that Gideon did put them in a unit which can hold them. Not for very long, mostly because of the glass. But yeah, it's definitely a good fight. I mean, we know what's going to happen, but that's fine. It's an effective fight, for sure.
he uses his flamethrower in an attempt to get away. He uses his whistling birds, which is like tink 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 on the thing. It's like, really? I mean, you're desperate at this point
Yeah.
because I love how it's like one of them is this powerful that if they all got out, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Which is mentioned later. So
yeah, although he does still win with one move, which does kind of lessen the impact a little bit. I wish he had to have broken off each limb. That'd also be quite Terminator-y, but the way he stabbed it is very Terminator. But I like although the whistling bird thing does actually damage it, which I appreciate. It does hit a vital area or two, like it does cause a little bit of a like there are still pipes and stuff to cause it, and I quite like that he gets shot with he gets shot too, and it's like nope. Ricochet. Like they're both using ineffective weapons because they've got ineffective. Like they're both sizing each other up, which I quite like. Like, how do I defeat you? I can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Either of us.
I do like the way he dispatches them though, like through the neck and then twist, and then the head's like hanging off.
Super
I thought that was
classic
nice.
Terminator, yeah. No, it's good. It's very effective. Although I did not appreciate the blow them out into space. Just it felt too easy. I get the reason later, but something about it feels A, we already did it once this season, and B, why would you put them on an airlock? But then obviously it's not an airlock. That's how they get out when they want to leave the ship. They just open the door and they leave. Why would you put if you're trying to get battle droids into a fight, why would you make them walk through corridors slowly? So it although I kind of wish we'd had a scene where they maybe one flew out and then suddenly they had gravity boots, because you'd have to have gravity boots or gravity shoes, and I wish they then were fighting against the current and then it felt a bit easy, even though they were going to come back. It was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I kind of forgot that they were going to come back. Like
Jedi Vulcan.
then we
get some remade.
don't care about them.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Stu.
They're back now.
Hi, yeah.
All right, yeah. So I expected them to immediately come back, because we saw them fly already. But then after so long with them not coming back, I'm like, okay, I had forgotten about them. But
I assumed.
when they,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say when they first go out though, I was expecting, something.
Yeah, I was assuming that they were going to get aboard the ship. Obviously, it's their ship. Like, that's easy. I assume they're going to do some really clever strategy. Or actually, when we get to the end, I assume they're just going to shoot the window outside the bridge and depressurize. I thought that would have been really, really cool. Because, the way they attack the ship is a bit shit. It's not very strategic. It's brute force Terminator style rather than, you can fly and you have blasters. Well, go through multiple doors, But there's reason for it, obviously. But yeah, they wait too long. But that's okay.
TMA $2. Nice to see other armor that works. Yes.
Yes. It adds tension. Effective weapons and armor.
But then we get the dank Ferric, because her gun is son of a mud scuffer. You need some help with that, and she bashes it. You hear it power up, and then she's like, "Excuse me." Oh, door opens. I thought that was fantastic. I love that scene.
It does feel a bit like we're just massacring people, in cold blood, which it is. It's a little bit gruesome. I think they also go in and they just murder all of the pilot people as well. So that lady that we got to know as well.
All the officers, yeah, because somebody asked about her, and it's pretty sure we see her actually get killed.
I mean, there's no one else. I mean, unless she ran away in a shuttle.
Unless she went with Moff Gideon and is doing something for him, but
that's a real stretch since they have the ship by the end of the episode. So yeah, they just massacre everyone. It's very, it's odd to root for heroes who massacre everybody. Like destroying a Death Star is one thing, but having them physically shoot everybody. It would have been kind of nice if they'd stunned them all. That would have been a nice touch if they actually stunned all the officers at this point as prisoners, because they could be quite useful. But whatever. But we get the bridge. Oh.
But where's Gideon?
This was nice.
Because she needs to face off against him, because she even said, Moff Gideon's mine. Is that clear? I don't care what happens, but... and he's got to be left alive because Cara Dune wants the information from him.
Yes. So, and I do love the reveal there at the end, the tension. That was nice. That I didn't see that coming. But Sammy Ray says, a little too much girl power. The troops are like cardboard cutouts. Can't agree, though, because they've always been that in every episode of Mandalorian. So irrelevant if they're man, woman, alien, doesn't matter. They're always bad. So nothing. God powers didn't cross my mind for a second. Didn't matter.
C-3PO could kick their asses. Like,
well, he did almost in a scene where he was a battle droid. Yeah, he did take out some people.
die. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, we get to Grogu's cell, takes out the 2 stormtroopers rather brutally. One gets stabbed, and the other one gets his neck broken.
Yep.
Which I felt bad for the guy. He's like, just doing his job. Stop. You know, he's got a wife and kids to feed.
And especially as you already argued for the scientist guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for some stormtroopers because they're just literally doing their job. They're just grunts, you know?
Yeah.
Anywho. So getting blasted, don't really care. But when they get their necks broken and stuff, it's like, did you really need to do that? Oh, well. Well, we got a Darksaber held up to baby Grogu. And yeah, this exchange, I love how measured Gideon is, like, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like he's always in control.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get the story. It used to belong to Bo-Katan. Oh yes, I know you've been traveling with her. Little piece of advice. You must assume that I know everything, like the fact that your little wrist launcher there has fired its one and only salvo.
So I'm not sure how he would know that. Either I guess he just saw it, which is then unimpressive.
Yeah, he's probably monitoring it, but
I mean, it's a bit of a weird statement, but that's okay.
yeah. So I got seen that they're on the bridge, but I'm here. You know. So she wants my sword because it brings power to whoever wields it. They can lay claim to the Mandalorian throne. So we get some exposition, which is fine, because not a lot of people would know that necessarily. So, and Mando's like, you know what? Just keep it. I just want the kid. That's all I'm here for. And the deal is, okay, you take the kid, and then you leave my ship immediately. It's like, okay. I can't believe the Mandalorian fell for this though. I saw this coming a mile away.
Well, I mean, he has got bulletproof, lightsaber armor, so he's not got that much to lose.
True, but he did turn his back to him. All it takes is one little in the non-armory spots, the soft spots.
Yeah, but they never think of that.
I do.
Oh, well, you're a more vicious killing machine. And this is definitely Gideon's best scene and one of his only good scenes in the entire franchise. He's the most. I mean, not that Star Wars has developed villains, but he's really good here. I wish this was him in every other scene. He's been a bit nothing. Who cares so far, you know? And this was great, you know. Although it's not like he hasn't. I wish he had a bit more of a plan here. I wish he had a little device that showed him the Dark Troopers like a screen, you know, how you saw stuff. And he said, I estimate about 1 minute till they come through his doors. So cause then he can buy time is important because he's not. You know what I mean? He's not quite in. Like this is the classic. Or I'll shoot him. It's like okay, but we'll get over this quite quickly. But the way he says it is good, and yeah, the fight's great. Because he's not a Jedi, and Mando's a guy with a spear. So this is probably the only time we've seen a lightsaber fight, which actually is very normal. It's just 2 guys with weapons of sword-based combat. There's no force fancy here. It's just a stabby brutal fight.
Yeah, I did appreciate the fact though that even though it's full Beskar, the spear did heat up when it was like grinding against the saber. I expected it to actually kind of start warping or something with the way it was getting hot like that. But anyway, it's a pretty good fight.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite bits actually, the heating up bit, because that tells you that it's either not pure Beskar, which would be a nice the only way to find out is to fight against something that can take it, or he's modified the Darksaber to be more powerful, or it can only go so long, which shows it's not a so godlike anti-lightsaber weapon. So that was a nice little touch.
Yeah,
but he does win relatively easily.
Yes,
but he's not a trained Force user, and lightsabers in the old canon, you have to be a Jedi to use them properly.
Yes.
So
and even tries the lasso thing that cuts right through that with the Darksaber, which I thought was great because that cord, of course, is not Beskar.
Yes. Which was quite impressive if it was.
Yeah, they should do that because reasons. And I love how he's like, "Oh, so you're not going to kill me? You're keeping me alive. This should be interesting." Mm-hmm. I personally would have killed him, but whatever. That's just me. But we need him alive, so it's fine. Goes up to the bridge, and he's wielding the Darksaber. And I love the look on her face, Bo-Katan. She's like, what happened? Well, you brought him in alive. It doubles the bounty. It's like, no, that's not what she's talking about. And here we get the whole exposition dump of this. You have you own, you're the owner of the Darksaber now. It's yours. She has to win it in battle, essentially. He's like, I yield. I'm giving it to her. Like, well, that's the story. The power is not in the sword. The power is in the story, which I thought was great. Now, people are going to say that Sabine, at the end of Rebels or whatever, gave her the Darksaber, and she accepted it. But he makes a point of saying she can't accept it again or something, because it would just be... what's he say exactly? Because everybody's been pointing out the Sabine thing, but I think there's some kind of little loophole there. Must be one in battle. Let's see. With the blade, she's a pretender to the throne. Well, perhaps she'll get another crack at it. Anyway, I don't know where the line is, but anyway. Now they're being boarded. The ray shields have been breached. And I love what they say, how many life forms? I said none. Before she did, so.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best little written scenes of the episode, because I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't get that far in Clone Wars because it lost interest in me at a certain point. So this was like nice and okay. And definitely because this throws you, because it was relatively easy, everything up until this point, relatively. A nice amount of Star Wars level challenge for OP people. But this I was like, are we going to see this big epic fight between these two? Is that going to be the payoff at the end of the season? Because Gideon's defeated, the Dark Troopers are not coming back. So I was kind of surprised. I was intrigued by her lack of doing anything about it, because she's waited all this time to get it. I was expecting something. I'm sure that'll be the start of season 3. Will be, I've got to kill you, Mando. Sorry. Well, I can't let you kill me. Yeah, I know. Well,
somebody says here, where is it? Devo77X. Next season, Mando will have open with a black eye, and Bo-Katan will have the Darksaber. I'd be fine with that. I think they should actually have a game of rock paper scissors.
Honorable.
She can.
Rock paper scissors.
Yes, she can easily defeat him in that. Rock paper scissors, Lizard Spock. Fleet Pop Swiftback, $2, 150. Woot woot. Onward to 200. Hit like. Hashtag make Fleet Pop pay. 211 people here. 152 likes, guys. 211 people. Some of you have not hit like. Hit that like button. Let's get to 200. I know, right?
And Gideon was also really good here. Like I said, he's let me down by his lack of interestingness on most of the scenes. But this was, this was his real plan. He had the A and the B plan, and both of them was waiting for the Dark Troopers to kill them. So I liked that a lot. And yeah, the visual of him coming out with the saber was great, very artistic. But yes, then he's like, nope, troopers are going to come in, and we see him start to come into those suspiciously large bays. You're right, they're pretty big actually, and it is a nice sort of build of tension. Although the fact they only do one strategy of go to bridge, any sort of strategy, no, just forwards. It's like, well, okay, not too smart, but it's an appropriate level of menace. But
Gideon, there's a moment here where there's a blaster on the floor and he covers it up with his cape.
Yeah, hasn't gone. Oh no, I guess just
it absolutely does. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Samu Ray, $2. Troopers should present some danger, else it's meh.
Yep.
Yeah, I was quite concerned at this point. Moff Gideon even says, you had enough trouble with one of them. What are you going to do against a platoon? And I was like, ugh.
Because it's not the fact that they're strong per se. It's the fact that their armor, just like Mando's armor, is bulletproof. So their blasters mean nothing. They're ineffective weapons, and all they have is a spear. So that's why they're a threat, which I like. Although also we got the Darksaber as well, so there's two things that can do something. But then all we've got is a sniper lady ineffectively, pew-pewing. So yeah, it was a nice... And I had not necessarily forgotten that the Jedi were meant to be coming, but it was like, okay, there's got to be something epic going to happen soon.
I thought it was going to be a cliffhanger. I thought there was going to be like a Star Destroyer or something, hyperspace in, and the last thing you see is like red eyes. And then, boom.
Oh, who do you think that was going to be then?
Thrawn.
Oh, okay.
You know, I thought there would be like a come out of hyperspace, zoom in on the bridge, and just see like this figure in like a white uniform, and that would be the end of it. And you'd be like, oh my god, we got to wait a year to see what happens. That's what I thought was going to happen. Gavin Val Smith through $3 Australian.
Thank you.
R2D2 recognized Grogu, and Grogu recognized him. Pretty. It's open to interpretation, but yeah, R2 got all excited, like, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Like, did he help him earlier? Did they know each other from the Jedi Temple?
So I don't think Grogu recognized him purely because he's also trying to block out memories from that time or between. Yes. So I don't think Grogu did, but I could very easily say that R2 was like, oh my god, it's another Yoda species. I think
could be that too. Yeah,
that was more likely. Personally, because he knew Yoda in the context of my master wants to rebuild the Jedi. Here's a Yoda being Yas Queen. I think that's more why. But I mean, yeah, it's a non-talking thing to a non-talking thing. However you want to take it. But then the robots go up to the room. They lower their blasters and just start punching. And it's like, okay, tension filled. I don't appreciate when the Mandalorian is like, hand blasters, they're ineffective. We'll just stay here. Like, no one does anything. There's like an episode of Discovery where no one actively tries to stop the scenario because the script knows someone's going to solve it for them. It's like they'd all be doing something that would solve the problem. They just don't do anything. It's very lackluster there.
Well, it's very showdown at the OK Corral. Like, we're going to die. We're going to just our last stand kind of thing. But one thing I don't appreciate, the Star Troopers are punching through their blast doors for a reason. Yes. There's like two sets. They close like this. They're interlocking. So they're punching through. You see them buckling on the other side. And then later when Luke comes in, they open the doors. The buckled side is on the inside. But then the part that overlaps it isn't buckled. Because as the doors were buckling, I'm like, how are they going to open those doors? Yep. Because they're being bent.
Yep.
Later, it's actually a mistake because you see the other side of the blast door. It's undamaged, and that should have been buckled first to buckle the inside. A little bit of a annoyance for me, but Eugene, 100 rubles. 1, 2, Jedi's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock the blast door. Gideon's nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
And Dreamer out there, $5. What I like is how Bo-Katan says in a hushed voice, a Jedi. She hasn't seen a Jedi cut through droids like that in 27 years. Yeah, absolutely.
But now we're at a certain point as an X-Wing flies past camera. I want to now know in Super Chat form, I'm challenging the audience now as we're on this big final. I want to know what you guys first, don't go with the hype, don't go with what you thought after. Even if you were wrong, what did you think genuinely was your first reaction to the X-Wing? Who did you think it was? What do you think was going to happen? In the chat, Super Chat would be ideal. Spam the chat right now who you thought it was. How many of you actually thought it was Luke? Because I thought it was either Luke or Ahsoka 50-50 until the cape. That was me. What did you guys think? And like I said, Super Chat, obviously another $30 of first thoughts there. What did everyone think?
I actually thought it was one of the guys X-Wing pilots we've seen, either Dave Filoni or the Kim's Convenience guy.
And that's the thing, though. Yeah, you set them up earlier. That was like my third option, but there's only one of them. If they'd said 2, obviously that would have been too easy. But there'd be no reason they would have got there. But yeah, that was absolutely my third option. Just didn't think it was actually.
Then I thought, no, it's too obvious. It's not.
Yeah.
So who else could have an X-Wing? And then it's like. It's got to be him. It's got to be him, you know? All right. So Eugene throws in 100 rubles. They're never going to show Luke. It must be Coran Horn.
Which one's Coran Horn?
Not sure.
I know the name. Star Wars has a lot of fun names that are nonsense.
Dreamer out there said he thought it was Dave Filoni.
Don't recognize the face at all. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, anyone could get an X-Wing. You know, it could still be anybody from the Republic. Could be Han Solo if you really want it to be. No reason it would be, but it could be. Cool. Now this is the point though where it becomes no longer Star Wars: The Mandalorian, it becomes Star Wars: Return of the Jedi Part 2.
Yeah.
Like any
much.
bit of, there's a little bit of a scene, but all these characters become. It's kind of all the characters at this point now become the that was an extra Freudian slip. I meant to the bridge crew of Discovery, but I just said extras. I didn't mean to, but that's a Freudian slip of how little they mean the thing necessarily. So it's when all these characters become the bridge crew of Discovery. No one cares. They're not getting in one line maybe. So I don't appreciate this sudden shift. Like, yes, but also I wish they had more urgency and more reason in the story. That's why you need more dialogue. More length of the episode. Because now it's just a Luke Skywalker show, which is awesome, but
I'm totally fine with that.
But you know what I mean, though. Like, you set up all these cool people, and they suddenly all become irrelevant to Luke instantly. Bo-Katan, who cares? Don't care. It's Luke.
And then he becomes instantly, irrelevant to R2-D2, so I don't care either. Like, there's importance levels here, guys. TMA, $2. I did think it was Luke. A Jedi had to show up. Yep. It's the only way to get out of the situation when you look back at it. But
yeah. I love Gideon's reaction shots for like, I was gonna be fine.
Oh shit!
What is this? Yeah.
Sergeant Roadkill, 2 pounds. Carl Catan popped into my head.
Would have been like a
Katarn.
Yeah, he spelled it wrong. I think Carl Catan. Yeah. But as soon as the cloak, I guess because the style of cloak is Return of the Jedi Luke. I don't know. Instantly, I was like, that makes sense.
ISFJ 1009, $5. The adult in me was saying, "Is that Ahsoka?" The kid in me, wishful thinking, hoping and begging, "Please, oh please, be Luke." Yep, pretty much. I think a lot of people were in that boat. So.
And the 50-50 Ahsoka, not as soon as you see the black and white, which is very clever, the black and white monitor.
Yes.
To hide the lightsaber, but it's not a woman and only one lightsaber, so it's not Ahsoka either way. Yep. So you've already.
I thought the guy had a beard for a while because it looked like he had a beard, and I was like, "Huh, it's just."
Qui-Gon Jinn, back from the dead.
No, it looked like Luke for sure, but.
Oh, you mean bearded Luke? Yeah.
Kremenko, 2 pounds. Thank you very much. With no comment.
I like your artsy picture. That's cool.
But yeah, he's taking out these troopers left and right.
He's very powerful, hard to defeat.
Over the back blocks, which I liked. Good style.
I mean, in the reality of the scene of the universe, he's probably fought hundreds of these, the Mark 1 and 2. Like, he has his own strategy for doing these. But then, yes, you reveal the green lightsaber, which is again pretty blatant. And you can also see he's got one black fist in it as well. Like they're not hiding it because you can't hide the distinctive elements.
You can even see the hilt of the lightsaber, and it's very much Luke's. Like,
so it's very much a case of how close are you to the screen and how much are you paying attention. If you are close to the screen and paying attention, you get it instantly, pretty much.
Yep.
But if you don't, and Dad was watching with me because you made us watch it, and I didn't tell him who it was because he didn't know who it was until much later, which is fine. But I knew instantly, but I didn't want to set the expectation for him. So I was like deep down building that anticipation level of like, can I orgasm today? Because I made the joke earlier. Although I do obviously wish we'd seen Luke's face more, and it probably would have looked better in these long shots because then it would have had to be less high res CG, But
then you're sacrificing that reveal. Even though everybody knows who it is.
No, I absolutely agree, but there's a certain disconnect of just cloaked stuntman destroying CGI droids. Like, it would have been cooler to have been Luke's face next time, have him in season 3. I mean, he can't not be in season 3, otherwise you're admitting Grogu is not important. So, yeah.
Then we get Gideon uses that blaster, and he's getting desperate at this point, so he shoots one of the female Mandalorians. And then goes to kill. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he just shot himself. Oh yeah.
No, and then he goes to shoot baby Grogu, but the Mandalorian slides in the way and blocks it. Mm-hmm. And then he's got nowhere else to go, and he tries to shoot himself, and he gets knocked out, which I thought was fantastic.
Classic coward's move.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me respect him anymore. Not a very good villain. But you're right. He's a pawn for Thrawn, isn't he? He's just the head of the science team. I mean, come on, he's a light cruiser. He's just a punk,
But Grogu's like all intrigued with the screens. Then all the droids turn around. The elevator
Well,
gets
hold
to
on.
the top.
I appreciate the fact that it's so blatantly a puppet that they're moving him from like they're holding onto his legs, going like the move's like. It's great, very puppety.
Mm-hmm. And you take out the last few troopers. Boom, 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 boom. And the last one was a force crush. Which I thought was great. Even it tries to shoot twice too, like.
And people have obviously pointed out that the initial one of the shot sequences where it comes to the elevator, or that's the next one. Yeah, this elevator sequence is a beautiful carbon copy of Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Just 20 years later, and it's very very similar, and it's clear visual parallel. But it's great, and boy, the green pops because you only saw him use green for minutes, a few minutes. We were robbed of this. Like even in Force Awakens, he used blue because it was because a hint to the audience. Should have been green anyway. But yeah.
But open the doors. Are you crazy? No, I'm going to open the doors. All right, so here we go. The doors are opening. See the damage to the doors on the inside?
I'm going through the fight first. You skipped a lot of fight.
Yeah, we covered that. There's just fight. We skipped all the fight all the way up to this point, so I we're skipping it.
Okay.
I already said the last one was the Force Crush, but...
yes. Yes, you're right. That's weird. It's reversed, isn't it?
Yep, and it's annoying me to no end because there should be damage to... Yeah, anyway, whatever.
But beautiful lightsaber green fog, practical lightsaber color in practical fog.
And that being said, the doors didn't open all the way. They only opened to where the damage was, so I do appreciate that fact.
Because they shouldn't really open. It shows they're good. But as soon as the fog and lightsaber color comes off, you see the hilt. At that point, 100%. Although it's obviously not Mark Hamill's chin. Like, it's still like you can tell it's not going to be like you could tell something's going to go wrong here because there's something wrong here.
Zamir Patwa, 5 pounds. Luke wearing the same outfit for 6 years, and he obviously hasn't repaired his hand because he is still wearing the glove. Well, it could have been repaired. He's just wearing the glove because it's cool.
He had the robot hand in Last Jedi, so it's a style thing. Straight up, there you are. Hello.
What was that?
I said he still had the leather thing in Last Jedi, so it's a style thing.
Yeah, at this point, yes. He doesn't have the skin texturing on it.
Yeah, and I'm more than happy to say... And besides, the belt buckle's different, I believe. It's not identical. It's the same vein of it. I don't think it's the exact same outfit. I think it's... But the thing is, that's kind of... he's the new Jedi man. That's his look. That was the...
But I like how it's still black. It's still that hint to the dark side kind of look. Whereas in, the Force Awakens, he's got the more Jedi-like robes, the lighter colors.
Yep. Well, this is what he should be wearing.
Yeah.
Like, this is contextually what he is. And yes, I mean, his face is incredibly distracting. Like, it is weird because you would think they would put as much money as possible in this, and you can tell they didn't. You can tell they still had Mandalorian budget because Tarkin looks better and Leia looks better. But they obviously were given much, much more money. So it's kind of weird they didn't give as much money here. But I mean,
this scene should have been focused on to be better than this. It was such minimal. Like, it wasn't Luke Skywalker's character. He was more upbeat at the end of Return of the Jedi. Sure, he's maybe more stoic a little bit because he's meeting these people, but still, the movement was very, very limited in his mouth.
Oh,
it wasn't.
Well, it's because
it wasn't Luke.
Because they didn't like none of this bit of his face moved, so it looks like a video game character. It's one of the less good digital faces. I just was reading up, and Dave Filoni just did an interview today that said Hamill was on set, and even though it was reported the stunt guy did all the stuff, he's now saying the stunt guy did all the action. This is actually Mark Hamill de-aged because after watching, they were saying the stunt guy, and so putting a full CGI head on a stunt guy will explain why it doesn't look very good because the scale doesn't quite work, the lighting doesn't quite work. But like Mark Hamill's face is very different to this, so it's not a de-aged as a full digital face. Like this, you can't de-age him this. Like I doubt Mark Hamill had this haircut for this day. Like it's a full digital face that happens to be on a body. And even the voice, like people say it's Mark Hamill's voice, but like it sounded like original him, but he doesn't sound like that. He hasn't sounded like that for decades. So I'm not sure how they did that. Like, it doesn't feel like Mark Hamill is in there. You know what I mean? Well, like you said, he's not acting like Luke. It doesn't feel like Mark Hamill is doing the performance.
Yeah.
It feels like Luke, maybe, but not Mark Hamill as Luke. So it's like, you know, yeah.
Eugene, there's a 100 rubles. The face, they were so obsessed with whether they could, they didn't stop to think whether they should. Should have used Sebastian Stan. Well, everybody says that, but no.
But can he act the role? Like, he might look...
You got Mark Hamill. Like,
yeah, use Mark Hamill as long as you can. You know,
the problem is the one that they have here looks younger than the one in Return of the Jedi a little bit. They needed to
age him up a bit.
Yeah, they just use Mark Hamill and do a little bit of de-aging. That's it. Not a full CG or face replacement.
Yeah, I would have been... I mean, the ages don't work so well, but I would have been fine to say that, you know, he had a really stressful 6 years and the Force has aged him. You know, dye his hair, remove some wrinkles, make Mark Hamill lose 10 pounds if he can. Just have he looks a bit too old rather than he looks full digital. That would have been fine. Yeah, I agree. Because I think Sebastian, like, it's fine to recast, but I wouldn't have connected it with Luke. And then once you've now recast, for all time, you can now just have anyone play anybody. Which is, okay, that's fine in a sense. But, yeah.
TMA, the face is fine. Stop nitpicking. We're not nitpicking.
No, we're being quite positive.
It's something that a lot of the internet has been talking about, so we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Well, yeah, this is Luke Skywalker coming back. This is the main... I'm sure most of you would want us to talk about this from the start for the entire piece. We're not nitpicking. I'm glad they did it.
I was very happy to see it, but I was still distracted a little bit by it. So,
but like I said, the fact is, it's not their best effort because they didn't have the money for it. They didn't invest as much.
And Max Volume said should have got Shatner for Star Trek 2009 too, eh? Wow.
Well, he would have been 70 years older than Kirk at 20. Or 60 years older. So I don't think 60 years versus 30 or 30. It's not quite the same. But you know that, you're just being an idiot. So maybe do the voice, but, you know, again, still wouldn't have worked. But I think it's interesting because I would have preferred, honestly, like you'd said, if he acted more. Like, if they tried to make the CGI face do more. I know less you do the more, but there's a lack of emotion everywhere here. But I think the actual choice of acting was okay. Like, he's been Jediing for 6 years. And, like, he just killed us. Like, he's not a... But I also wish he asked who they were and such. Like, he's not very connected with them. You know? Like, they probably said it's going to cost us 400,000 per 10 seconds. So we can have 9 lines, etc. Or something like that.
I think they just assumed that we'd all be crying and not see his face because we were just like, oh my god. ISFJ 1009 $2 lost count on the number of peeps that cheered CGI Luke. No, it was fantastic.
Well, and who would have thought?
But the problem is everybody's going to rewatch this and rewatch this and rewatch this and analyze it. They need to know that.
But to be fair, some frames are better than others. Like, this is actually not bad, but his face is just the wrong shape. Like, they just didn't get the face right. You know what I mean? Like, the middle bit's actually really good. Like I said, the haircut's slightly wrong.
Yeah.
And the face is the wrong shape. Like, it almost looks like Sebastian Shaw with a Mark Hamill face on it, with how chunky the, you know. But
Jeff Jacobs, $5. Sorry. Just stopping to drop my like and say hi.
Hello.
Hi. I really loved Mandalorian. I can't wait for the next Jon Favreau project, whatever it may be.
Thanks, Donald.
And Dreamer out there says $5 or puts in $5. They are planning to have him in the shadows. It's not the best because they did it for a limited amount of time. Don't care about Deepfake. It's Luke. Yeah. And he kept it secret for a year, which was awesome.
No, what this shows, it's not the fact that it is Luke. It's the fact that they symbolically opened a door that's never been opened like this before. Because not only do they get real... Because if it was Sebastian Shaw, it would be, okay, the character's back. But to get Mark Hamill to agree after his official death, which no one, you know, and second death, you know, afterlife scene, to agree to come back as young him in a scene where he's well before his death, to be best he's been since Return of the Jedi, shows a show can do this. Shows a show can bring back anybody effectively. Shows they respect the canon. Shows they respect the idea of what the canon should be. And the fact there's now no longer a limit. You know, you ask, will Han Solo be in the Boba Fett series? He will be at some point. Why wouldn't he be? Because haven't we always wanted to see what Boba Fett and Han Solo again would be? I have. Yeah. Although they'd probably get the guy from Solo because he's actually rather good in that. They should get him in. That's fine. Like, you know, Hamill has aged better than in some ways. But the fact that
Harrison Ford is a dick and won't do it. So.
Yeah, but the fact they have done this has opened a door. You know, once you've opened this door, it's like getting Shatner back for 09. Well, they got Neiman back. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you can do it, but that was on a TV show. No, it'd be like getting Well, there isn't really an example, is there? Because they keep doing reboot shows. Yeah, there isn't an example, I guess. Well, okay, let's say it's like in Discovery Season 3. They're saying we cryogenically froze Picard. Here he is. Hey, Patrick Stewart. But that still wouldn't be as effective as this, you know?
Dreamer out there, $5. You can't say his name. Bo-Katan fought with Anakin in the Clone Wars. If Bo heard the name Skywalker, she would have a thing or two to say.
Yeah.
I love how the Mandalorian's like, "Are you a Jedi?" Nope. I'm the closed circuit TV repair guy. Apparently, all your closed circuit TVs are in black and white for some reason. I'm here to fix that. You know. Anyway, yeah, I will protect the child with my life. He'll be safe with me. Once he masters his abilities, you know, he's going to be in danger till then. Love that. And the whole, he doesn't want to go with you. No, he wants your permission. Was kind of nice. And then he takes off his helmet, which I didn't really see coming, but I thought he was just going to pick it up and show his face, but he takes the thing right off. And it makes you wonder, did Baby Yoda or Grogu, did he Jedi mind trick him? Because he held up his hand like, I want to see your face. I was like, So maybe the Mandalorian's just got a weak mind, and that's why he took off his helmet. He's not breaking his code and doing it to show the baby. It's because the baby wanted to see his face and Jedi mind tricked him. Just a thought that I had. Probably not true, but that's okay. But a very touching moment nonetheless.
Yeah, this was the corner piece. If this hadn't happened, I think it would have been a lot less good episode, because you needed, like, with the Mandalorian, like, give us a moment, you know. Although it's when he also shaved his mustache, or like his facial hair is totally different to last time we saw him, which was like yesterday, and he's put on a lot of weight since. This is either a reshoot or he put on a lot of weight. Like, he looks so much worse than last week, but it's the next day.
Worse.
Well, he looks, like I said, more overweight, more bloaty, more red, different facial. Like, he just looks worse to me. Like, it felt like a reshoot where he just put on like 7 or 8 pounds. Like, thicker.
I do not see that at all.
That was my first.
You just sound like fat people. You're fat shaming.
Well, just when you were thin last week, I was like, wow, you put on weight. But no, lovely little scene, and it shows that, you know, a lack of words can still be powerful. And yeah, just the idea of the whole scene is lovely, and R2 turns up, and it's cute.
That's the moment. I heard R2 and I was like, oh my god. Eugene, though, 100 rubles. They should have used Sebastian for this shit. Sebastian Stan as face double, not Max Lloyd Jones. CGI would have been better. He would have politely declined. They had Hamill there, so just put Hamill's face over Hamill.
Yeah, people.
They don't need.
The first reports that Max did it, but now Filoni said it was de-aged Luke. Because the thing is, it's not de-aged Luke if it was not de-aged Mark Hamill if it's a full CGI face, and it's a full CGI Luke. It's either de-aged Mark Hamill or it's a full CGI face on Mr. Max. But I don't think Sebastian would agree to be a body double. You know, it's not as if you're going to get any credit in Hollywood for being a body double to Mark Hamill.
But the R2 moment's nice. Grogu's like, R2 leans down, looks at him, and does the excited R2 thing. Like, either look, it's another like Yoda creature, or
it's
I recognize you from the
Yaddle's son.
I recognize you from the Jedi Temple. Yeah, I'd buy both of them, and I'd be fine with either one, actually. Like I said, R2's the kind of the glue that holds everything together in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Now, I got something I just noticed here. What is up with R2's legs? Why does he have like pins at the top of them? Those are never ever there.
Yeah.
What is with that? I just noticed that now.
Yeah, the way he shifts his body a little bit as well is a little bit odd.
Well, that's how he's always done it.
But there's a slight... Okay, he might have been CGI for that bit. That's why it's a little bit off.
I don't think it's off, though. I think it's...
Oh.
Yeah.
Although it also shows that this actually is a better design than BB-8 because he kind of just... It feels more detailed, you know? Why don't they just keep using R2-D2? 9 films of R2-D2.
They should have.
Obviously, yeah, it would have been hard for him to move because he's a jetpack. You know, BB-8 ain't got no jetpack. But yeah. And the fact that, like I say, Pedro removed his helmet, I mean, you maybe could have had a moment where he puts his back on before turning around, which we never get to see, I don't think.
No, we don't.
But it's symbolically like maybe it's him saying, "Okay, I'm giving up this." Maybe.
And Eric the Bat says IMDb list Max as Jedi double. Yes, for the stunt scenes, for the lightsaber scenes.
The action stuff. That's what Filoni
I don't know
just
why
said.
that's so hard for people to understand.
I mean, you know, there's the PR spin. You know, we won't know until it's more confirmed. But Filoni said that today, so. But yeah.
Yeah, and so they go into the elevator. Archie turns around. The door closes, and that's the end, essentially.
And it's genuinely sad.
Yep, and yet happy at the same time.
Yeah, well, Luke took him. Bloody hell.
And everybody's like, "Where's Baby Yoda or Baby Grogu going to sit in the X-wing?" On Luke's lap. There's lots of room. He's a little guy. Like everybody's complaining that he wouldn't be able to leave on the X-wing. It's like,
he's like a foot
really?
tall.
Yeah, he's like this tall. He's like, he'd be fine.
Didn't even occur to me for a second. What a stupid complaint.
Right? Dreamer out there, $2. Never show Mando set down his helmet, the Force. Wow.
Interesting point. Where he dropped it and they ADR'd out the clink. But I really would love to have seen the scene after this. Did he turn round? And Bo's like, "Oh, you ugly." Or, "Wow, you're hot.
Well,
can I kill you now?"
See, the thing is too, he was holding Baby Yoda or Baby Grogu in one arm. He took his helmet off with the other one. Then he set Grogu down. So you'd assume his helmet was in the other hand. He just set them both down at the same time.
You know
Paul
what?
Graham.
Okay.
Oh.
I think Paul. Yeah.
Paul Graham throws in $20. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
I'm still working, so I can't watch it, but I thought I should at least stop in and drop a like and offer some support. This episode was better than the last 3 movies. Yes.
Most of it, yeah. There were little moments. I mean, come on, Daisy Ridley is so cute. So, yeah, give me more Daisy Ridley in my life.
Area 51, $5. Just wondering, has anybody brought up using Sebastian Stan? I shouldn't have even read that. But we're not done yet. So
Although,
this is when we thought we had all the
briefly,
excitement.
I'm guessing though, it would have to be that season 3 will open on this ship still. Because this is like she's gonna try and kill him for the blade. Like something has to happen.
She's not gonna kill him for the blade. She doesn't want to. It's quite obvious.
But beat him for the blade. I mean, she just has to fight.
I like
him.
the idea of them coming around the corner of one of the hallways of the ship, and he's got a black eye and she's got the blade. That'd be awesome. Like just done, simple, done. No need to make it a fucking, series season-long arc.
Oh no. But her face was like, "This is big," not just like, "I'll punch you." Like it was not played that small. So I feel like it should start here, in this place, and then have a time jump. I just like finish the part 2, and then move forward. Because the thing is now his arc's done. The Mando has no longer any character arc. But because part of it is that he took his helmet off. So as he turns around, everyone's now seeing his face. Then he'll say, "I'll help you in your cause." Like that. Like they should expand on this scene. I think. I feel like with the next season, would be my gut. Because it just sort of stops,
Yeah.
Until.
Area 51 throws in $2. Sorry, Cap, just goofing with you. Oh, no problem. I'm just frustrated because you guys watch it, you enjoy it, you see some stuff on the internet. We watch it, review it, talk about it. I do a first reaction live, talk about it, hear all the complaints. It just gets frustrating after a while to hear the same shit over and over again. Sorry.
Yes.
Dreamer out there puts in $2. Helmet is on the floor when he sets down Grogu. Oh well. Maybe we just dropped it. We just didn't hear it.
Yeah. Well, we will say it's inertial dampened. Maybe it's sound dampened from clinks as well.
Well, we get the Dual Sons of Tatooine after the credits. And I hated that there was no concept artwork because I love watching that every week. But that was their indication that there's something coming, so pay attention because they didn't do it. But anyway, I knew about the post-credits scene beforehand, so I was just waiting.
And Vincent says he now has a dark saber, he definitely has an arc. Yeah, but he's just going to give it to the lady. That's the whole point of her arc. So that'll be resolved and we'll move on. Like, he doesn't want it, he's not going to keep it, he doesn't need it. Move on, you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not an arc, it's just one scene to finish. But yes, sorry, Tatooine, yes.
Yeah, and the pan over to Jabba's palace, which was nice.
And Stuart, this is where the money went.
Yep.
Seriously.
You get some skinny Gamorrean guards again. They're not as big as they were in Jabba's day.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's the episode.
Especially the one that goes up. Especially one that goes up the stairs in a second.
Yeah.
But we get Bib Fortuna, and he actually talks to Queequeg, which are all people from Return of the Jedi. Even the lady at the back there is one of the singers. The Twi'lek girl that's on the chain is also one of the singers that was in Jabba's palace.
Although it was a different actress, so didn't look the same.
Yeah.
Vibe the same.
Well, yeah.
Hey, they didn't CGI DH her face, did they?
Nice touch, though. Bib Fortuna, his little staff there is the staff that his toy came with, which you never really saw ever in Return of the Jedi. So that was a nice little touch.
And I appreciate he's got fat in his gluttony over the last 6 years.
Yep.
It's definitely satisfying. I mean, I'm not sure how he survived because the thing he was on blew up, but they'll explain that. I mean, that's fine. I'm sure they'll give a reason. It's funner. Oh, there's little Sarlacc heads on his chair. It's obviously not Jabba's chair, so he had a custom chair made, which is fun.
Yeah, it's Sarlacc. You mean Rancor?
Yes, thank you. Now, this was really
weird. Which is weird because they got the Rancor pit. She comes and stands on it, and then Boba comes and stands on it. And the whole time, Sylvia, when she was watching, is like, "Don't stand on that." And I'm like,
I'll be honest.
I never even thought about that.
I for some reason, I don't think he kept it. Like, that was a Jabba thing, his own way, because he
probably.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that we could have set and it looks so good. Well, it does feel smaller than the movie. Like, this shot in particular, I'm like, this feels smaller somehow. The stairs look perfect. I mean, it's not that hard to recreate. They obviously have all the original plans. But it's so surreal to be back here. And it's like, but Stuart hasn't been visually updated with holograms everywhere, and it's now silver and beautiful. No, it just looks right. It just is right. Yeah.
But a thin Gamorrean guard goes up the stairs, and gets blasted and comes down. Let me see Boba Fett's shadow, which is, well, she kills everybody except for Bib Fortuna and shoots the chain for the slave so she can get away. Nice little touch. Then we see Boba's shadow, and I don't know what Bib's thinking exactly at this point, but
he's got no idea.
Well, then, yeah, I'm surprised that Boba stood on the goddamn trapdoors. It's like, seriously, what the hell? Anyway,
he's got a jetpack though. He won't fall in.
Well, I guess. Boba, I thought you were dead. I'm so glad to see you. I had heard many rumors. And then, boom.
Quite vicious.
Blasted. Yeah, absolutely. Not even saying hi to the guy. Come on now.
And then pushes him over, and a glorious establishing shot. And I mean, we've heard all heard rumors about there being the Boba Fett series, which was then not announced during the big, we're announcing 344 new series, one every 5 minutes on Disney+. But this is why, because they're announcing it in 2 weeks in the show. And it's cool. I mean, the actor's a good actor. It'll really give him a chance to be Boba again, well, for the first time. And expands the universe even further, you know? Is cool. Book of Boba, odd title. I'll be honest. Book of Boba Fett.
And everybody's like, that's going to be season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's going to shift from one Mandalorian to another Mandalorian and be all about Boba Fett. And it's like, no. They've announced that, no, that's not the case. It's going to be 2 separate. And they're both starting in December, which is awesome. It's also shitty because we got to review all that shit. But
Well, unless people don't
anyway.
watch, obviously. I mean, to be fair, we could always do like both of them in one review. Do the first hour as one, first hour the other, and just not do scene by scene.
Maybe because unfortunately, the Star Wars reviews have been very underwhelming, which is weird because they're amazing shows. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's good, you know. I mean, it makes sense. He's a more obvious character, but it's the sort of thing where they're trying to go Marvel, right? It's a joint universe where you set up characters, you cross them over. This is the sort of show where Mandalorian has his own, because the Mandalorian show is going to do with the Bo-Katan stuff. Because Boba ain't no Mandalorian really in his own mind. That's not what his story is and not connected to. He's about underworld stuff and about him coming back.
Well, he's been here for 6 years since he escaped the Sarlacc. You got to assume he's been on Tatooine the whole time, knowing what's going on with Jabba's old empire. Like, this is not just I decided to come back to Tatooine and kill Bib Fortuna. There's something else here that we're going to find out about.
Well, remember, he didn't have his arm back until a week ago, so he knew he had to come back in his full armor. He couldn't do that for 6 years for some reason. He's had a slave on the entire time. But it's interesting because this sort of show, you can tell they will cross over with Mandalorian. They will call upon each other. But I can see Han being in it. I can see Luke being in it. Very satisfying. I can see Luke walking in and being like, to the new Lord of the Underworld on Tatooine, Boba Fett. Greetings, Skywalker. I thought you died. I thought you died. No? Oh. Wasn't really paying attention.
If you would have stuck around before you came and picked up your girlfriend, you would have seen me. Have you seen the meme? Boba comes back and Luke's just leaving. You see Boba in the car looking like this, and Luke's in the other car looking like this, as they pass each other. Like, woo, you pass.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, no, but they've made him more awesome in his 4 appearances, and they've actually doubled up.
There's the Book of Boba Fett logo.
Yeah, good. Yeah, very much like his game logo, or the Django. Very apt. What's interesting about the character, though, they basically had to soft reset him, because I'm surprised how much, I said this before, he just sort of followed instructions, like he wasn't living his own personal mission. But the importance is, it shows he's honourable. That's the key. He did a thing, he parted a thing, he kept his word. You never didn't get that sense in the movies, but the recent one was like, no, he will do his word. If you do business with him, like, he's a good business guy, he's a good dealer, and he's a good tactical guy. So I think that's actually really important now, knowing he's getting his own show. And, it's in the universe, the era we all want to see, obviously. And these might even be, 5 episodes, 6 episodes. Like, they're shorter and they're only 8. They're doing their own mold anyway, And the fact is they're probably going to reuse a lot of prop sets. I mean, once you have, 21 Stormtrooper armor, guess what? That's going to be reused in all of the 5 shows. 5 shows are in this timeline. So ends up being a lot of and if we know their shooting schedule is a lot quicker because they film most of it on the single stage released in season 1, quicker to film. And if they all share the same soundstage to film, I mean, they're actually much more efficient. This ain't no TNG 26 episodes, 9 months a year, and then as soon as you finish, you start the next season planning because So yeah. Oh, and Cobb is on the same planet. Yes, that'd be good. He'd be a good bring back to this show.
Absolutely, yeah. Plus, you think that Boba and him might have a few things to talk about. You had my armor.
Look, I was there for a year. Where were you? Well, I feel like it yet. Well, fair enough. Yeah.
All right, guys. So put in your super chat scores. Super chat your scores now. I will read those when we're done with our final kind of wrap up and scores. And non-super chat scores, Samuel will read in the regular chat. But we'd like to get a few more super chats, obviously, and 7 more likes to get to 200. But I think another $50 in super chats would be a good number to aim for. So a couple 5s, whatever, would be great. If not, that's cool. But
at least for the Luke Skywalker, show your support for Luke and we got a new show announced in the show. Bring Luke back. I mean, come on.
And R2's back too, man.
Yeah, and he could.
That's more important to me than Luke.
I mean, hey, the R2D2 spin-off.
Yes.
Yeah. And in fact, it does mean that we are going to have a lot of Star Wars next year. That they butchered the 3 films, but it's going to be Star Wars. Because remember, George Lucas said he was going to do his TV show for years, never did. The movies came out. I would consider them, story bombs, and they're gonna burn the world in glorious fire for TV shows. You know? Oh.
Well, anyway. So this
Yes.
episode was fun. Like I said, this was like how I play with my Star Wars toys. Slave One fighting shuttle, things like that. It was really fun. Just having fun in the universe with the characters that are already established. Just having fun, and it was so well done that I was just in awe the whole time I was watching it. The last couple minutes, I've never felt that emotionally invested in anything, TV like fictional wise, which is an odd statement for me because I do get excited when I see like references for Star Trek and stuff like that within Star Trek, but I never really get emotionally attached or get excited. So the fact that I was excited when Luke came back, and then super doubly excited when R2D2 showed up on screen, meant a lot to me because that's not easy for me, like for a show to do to me. Sure, it was fan servicey, but it also made sense in the universe, so I have no problem with it at all. I thought it was great. The CGI face was a little off. It didn't move very much. It was just like the lips, and they were trying to minimize that uncanny valley thing, and I think that actually ramped it up a little bit, unfortunately. But so that's the only reason this is going to lose any points for me is the face. I liked the Dark Troopers. I liked the fact that Grogu is now with Luke, that we kind of called that, and he's setting up his academy. Everybody's complaining now, though, that Grogu apparently will get killed by Kylo Ren. Not necessarily. That's like 30 years down the road, and there's a lot can happen in that amount of time. He's already 50. He can maybe hits a puberty and just shoots up like teenage Groot.
Stuart, that time where Order 66 happened and they massacred every Jedi, and then new Jedi appear every single season of every single thing ever produced ever?
And every game, yeah.
So, no, he didn't die. Why would he? Sorry. Yeah. He escaped. He left the... No, it's fine. I've no problem with... And even if he did die, okay. He hasn't really been a character. He's been a marketing fun tool. It's fine. Okay, he died. Sad.
Yeah.
But I honestly think they might just undo the sequels. I mean, at this point, the way they kind of go... Yeah. I know people are theorizing, the clone is Snoke, which is interesting, although to be Palpatine clone... Well, I mean, Palpatine has his own clone because how he made Rey. But, I mean, it may go into that, or they might just retcon it, undo it all, which would certainly give them more credit.
Maybe it's Rey. Maybe it's Rey that has Grogu's blood. Anyway.
Well, it'd be Palpatine who then made Rey, but yeah, via the which would be a nice gentle retcon for why she's so powerful, because she has a Yoda species descendant blood. Well, a Palpatine DNA and Yoda's blood. That's like that. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, I thought it was a really fun episode. Started with a bang with the chase and ended with a real punch to the gut. Good in a good way though. So for me, the score on this one is going to have to be a 9.8 out of 10. This is what I wanted from the movies. I wanted to see Luke being a hero, and this is fantastic. I'm just super excited for this, and it would have got a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for the little bit of uncanny valley going on with his face. But yeah, I am super excited. So, hey, DJ Odyssey is here, the worst person ever.
Oh, that's not a good
Hail, Trekyards. Hope I'm still not on the naughty list. Oh, you are. So here's the story. He was at Walmart, and there was one baby Groot thing left, and there was this lady talking on the phone whether she should buy it for her kid. He overheard this and scooped the baby Yoda from behind her on the shelf and bought it. So there's some poor kid out there whose mother was talking to the father to decide whether they should buy this for Christmas, and he scooped it. He's the worst kind of person. And now the world knows, at least the Trekyards world. So, and I wouldn't have said that, DJ, if you hadn't said on your own live stream, well, I can't show up on Trekyards now because Captain Foley will say I'm the worst kind of person. So it's your own fault. It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
I have nothing to add to this. Jesus. Yeah, but guys, super chat your scores. I really want to hear your scores. We got some normal scores, but yeah, a few more would be good. We're still 45, 35 away, so any would help. So yeah, well, hefty score, Stuart. So this is the best Mandalorian episode easily then, by that logic.
Yeah, definitely. For me, yes.
So I don't think anyone got over 9 for you previously. I'm pretty sure.
No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, for me, this is. I mean, it's that lovely line of fan service versus. And I hate the word fan service because you are making content for the fans of your show. Why would you make something not for the fans? So everything made properly is fan service. It's just you're meant to have a good story first. You know, it's like Lower Decks. Good story, add stuff to it. Boom, you win both sides.
Yeah.
But the thing is, The Mandalorian has lowered my expectations on story, plot, and Mandalorian's own involvement. You know, and this season especially has dragged that through the mud of like he's not going to be great, like he's not going to do much. Stormtroopers don't mean anything. Baddie's not very good. Like the season's been not very good in those ways, but it's been good for building the universe of canon. It kind of feels like when they realized that Iron Man is a great film, season 1 of Mandalorian, but then suddenly you've got like First Avenger, Captain America, and Thor, not really good films, but they're setting up Avengers, which is then a great film. So this season is setting up all the other seasons, which, hey, it's got a lot to do. That's fine. It does some things good, some things not so good. For me, not as enjoyable a season, because it's not about him anymore. It's not about Baby Yoda, it's not about all that stuff, and the villain's not good. But this episode is like people said, better than the sequels. Seeing Luke effortlessly defeat the biggest threats in this season so far effortlessly is great. It's apt. It's the logical choice. But Mark had to say yes, because we said previously, once your character dies, that is your final swan song. But if he dies unexpectedly, before they film anything else, or if he's chosen not to be in it again, this is also a great swan song. Like, he managed to get back into a new awesome swan song, I mean, yes, weird face, but still, the character anyway. All the Grogu stuff's fun, well done for the puppet. I really liked him moving his helmet at the end. I liked the female group. I didn't think of them that way, but yeah, sure, they were great. Although I wish, everyone had more lines. It's a very undialogue based episode. I wish Bo had more lines and Jango, just more actual dialogue, But much better use of the sets, much better use of just much better direction overall, better use of tension. Dark Troopers were good, although underused properly, less strategy. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a much, much better spectacle based piece that achieves what the lack of logic in other ones fails to achieve, and therefore you are more truly entertained by it.
Are you not entertained?
Yes, you are. And really, I'd rather have Mark Hamill's face poorly done or mediumly done than not Mark Hamill's face with Sebastian Shaw. No offense, Sebastian Shaw. I'd rather have that because then it's Luke being Luke, etc. Score-wise, enjoyment factor is like a high 9. Story-wise, it's not very good because it's barely a story, but that's not how you should rate it, By that same logic, you would review Return of the Jedi not so good because it's not a very good story, but the scenes are incredible, and so it's other levels. I can't go lower than a 9 though, just because of the moments, But it's not like perfect or anything. You could easily do it better by giving them 10 more minutes. Have them deal with, have them have maybe 2 Dark Troopers come in and the team fight middle of the ship or something. Maybe go to the engine room, take over that way. Like do more character stuff. Have another team of Boba. I'm probably in slip there. So it could have been better, just character based. So I'll just flat out give it a. Yeah, I'll give it a 9 because then it is the best of this season. So and it is better than the first episode because of Luke and the payoff factor. Although the first episode was a better story, that still holds the crown for best story and longest episode. So yeah, there you go. Still very, very enjoyable, and I have not felt that same buzz as you walked through the corridor for a long time.
Yep. And the excitement that just shot through me when I heard R2D2.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh my god, it's
exactly
felt what I wanted.
Your excitement. I felt yours through the Force. I felt your excitement in the part. And actually, you watched it again while I watched it. Weirdly enough, so we actually were co-watching.
Yeah, we were watching at the same time. Yeah. That's when I watched it with Sylvia. Yeah.
So I was absolutely in your brain thinking what you felt at the time, which is great.
Yeah, and Sean Wright asked, "Is this live or pre-recorded live?" Well, we would never do a pre-recorded live that's over 2 hours long. So.
Yeah. Oi. and calling out super chats that are from the past would make much sense for sure.
Well, we got some super chats for
yes.
scores.
Excellent.
Tenchi 2K7, $5.
Thank
10
you.
out of 10 for Mandalorian, and yay for Luke, R2D2, and Boba Fett.
Well, one quick thing on that. It's a less good Mandalorian episode, but a better Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't service the Mandalorian too well, but it serves the universe really well. Slight clarification there from my personal. Yeah.
And Tiburon, don't worry. When DJ Odyssey has his, Scrooge moment, this will be in his Ghost of Christmas Past thing. He's going to see the little child on Christmas morning who doesn't get a Grogu figure, and he's going to change his ways when he's old. Fleet Pass Swiftback, 10 out of 10 for Trekyards, 9.9 out of 10 for Mando. Loved it. Paying for my 200 likes challenge issued. Let's get there. We're at 213 likes now. So thank you guys. 175 people still watching. Awesome. Thank you so much. Dan 23, £2. How many of the announced Star Wars shows will you review? We'll have to see when they come out. Probably all of them.
In some form, yeah.
And expect in January we're going to do a live talking about all of them and what we think, and we're going to do that in January after Discovery's done. So
I'm assuming they want to stagger them because they need those Disney Plus monthly.
They need to hit as soon as one series ends, another one starts.
Yep.
Because they don't want any dead time. That's what if they do it properly, that they can do that and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. But that not that I want 52 weeks of review shows, but. We don't do sub shows. That's fine. You know what I mean. Like I don't want the Discovery 50 weeks a year. But I do think though that with a stronger main character, there'll be a better story. Because I never thought of Clone Wars as being poor stories, like the later ones, even Rebels. Like the characters were better and are more interesting because it wasn't about a guy who doesn't say anything. There was always going to be an uphill battle. It was about other people. So I think those shows will be better in general. Because they are more focused on characterization. They have to be. It's like, the first Star Wars film, all the characters are great. Everything works together. It's not just because of the sets or the costumes or the pacing, it's the characters as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Bill Barkley says, are we going to review Wonder Woman 84? No.
We
might talk about it. Yeah. Scotchy Scotch.
Not really our thing. Like, not really our review style. It's not sci-fi.
Captain Foley did review, Batman v Superman when it came out, but I stopped doing the movie review series. So,
and like I say, it's not science fiction. So, I know people say comic books, films are science fiction. No, they're not. They're comic books. It's different.
They still fall into that half of the. Yeah. Anyway, Scotchy Scotch got chosen $10. If you told me before season 2 that they would bring in Boba, Ahsoka, Bo and Luke, Duke's Hazard. Anyway, I would have said, nah, do your own thing. That's too much. But they set it all up well and earned the payoff. Yeah, they set it up well and they knocked it down even better. So, yeah.
And it's true. If you'd known that going in, just Boba and Luke in the same series, that's pretty impressive. And the original actors for both. As in, at least the original, making sense actors. Jeremy Burke obviously passed away recently, so, but the original of at least, the other guy's been retconned back into the original actor from the first one. Yeah.
All right, cool. Wow.
Yeah, so let's see what you guys non-super chat scores are, but we're about $26 away from being at an okay number. So 26, that's all, pretty close there. But the other people's review scores are you ready, Stuart? What our audience thinks, and put more scores now if you want us to read them now.
Yes.
10, 9, 9.975 with Voidring, it says Eugene. 10, 9, 10, 7.5, 10, 12, 10, 8, 8.5, 9.5, 9, 10, 9, 12. Again, he said it twice. Jesus, man.
Just wasn't sure you're going to read it the first time, so he's got to make sure.
9.5, 8, 8, 10, 7, ISFJ1009, many tens out of many tens, 11, 10, 11/10, and
Dreamer out there, 13 out of 10.
it's quite a lot.
yeah, I mean, the overall consensus is people love this one. So there you go.
Well, you pay respect to the original hero of the original franchise fully. Duh.
Yep. Now, I want everybody to spam the chat right now because I want to get a consensus on this. What were you more excited for? Luke, R2, or a Boba Fett series? Luke, R2, or Boba Fett series? Put it in the chat right now.
What, they announced a R2D2 series?
No. I was more excited for R2 to come back. Many people have said the same thing, so screw you, man. R2's awesome. Scotchy Scotch Scott's pushing $26. Exactly what you asked for, so thank you so much. Here's your 26 Commander. Happy holidays to you both and to the Trekyards community. Love you guys. We love you too. Thank you so much. That is awesome.
What, Stuart? Let's both do a Khan, because his thing is Khan. He must have the Khan scream. You ready? In 3, 2, 1. Khan!
I'm not going to yell.
That was a chewy Khan. There you go. Just for you.
All right. So we got Luke. Duh. LOL. Well, I don't know what that is. Luke. Boba Fett. Luke. I'm excited for Luke. Neither. R2. Luke. Luke's the overall.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised by, because I had read so many comments of people saying I was excited for Luke, but R2, am I right? Screw you guys.
I would guess if the ratio would be like 65% would say Luke, and the other two would be mostly Boba, and then like a 15% R2. Because you asked them to pick over other characters. Like, you can be excited, but Luke always wins that fight because he's the primary hero of the primary series, and the father of the villain, etc., etc. But you know,
But he's a whiny little bitch. Sorry.
And R2D2 should know better sometimes. He flies now, Stuart.
No, that's just dumb. Don't get me started on that shit. But here I have flying R2. Like, he does have the little.
Whoa, that's not what they look like in the show.
Nope, those are different ones.
Yeah. They're like bonus big boosters.
R2 is a package deal. Yeah, I guess.
But it's just the respect, you know. But it also means you can bring R2 into other sequences, because especially like the Rogue One movie and other rebel-based, you know, with Ahsoka and stuff.
Like I said, in my opinion, R2 is the most important character in Star Wars. He was the one that was telling the story. He was the one that kept everybody, you know, saved the day all the time. And then JJ came along and said, "I'm gonna put you in a corner." Well, nobody puts Baby in a corner or R2 in a corner. Understand? Yeah. I made BB-8 to replace him. That's stupid.
Yeah, I certainly understand that, but from the context of he's like the secretary that always helps the business, but without the business,
be nice.
You know,
be nice.
Business can't. You know,
he's a hero. Look at him. He's a hero.
Well, he's definitely the most brave and qualified R2 unit in the entire bloody galaxy. But it's just hilarious. Like, he was just a repair droid on a random planet. Like, it was a humble origin, but for a droid, it's pretty, you know.
Well, other droids can aspire to that if they don't get their memories erased every 5 weeks or whatever the routine is. Because R2's memory just never got erased. That's why he's so awesome. Because he just remembers everything.
But he can never say anything to anybody to tell them about stuff.
But yeah, Luke understands him.
Yeah,
is that because of the Force? I don't know.
No. I mean, he doesn't tell the plot like, oh, that's Anakin's son. Like, he doesn't tell people the plot in episodes because it's obviously retconned in. Yeah, he can talk obviously, but I mean, he doesn't tell people useful things often, which he could do.
Stuart
Chopper's all right.
Stuart should watch Rebels. There's R2 bots episodes. Yes, I know. I'll get there. I'm just watching Clone Wars now. Chopper's a dick. I don't like Chopper.
Well, he's trying to be the like cool version of R2. R2 is like the cool, calm, collective guy, you know, who's awesome without having to be silly.
Yeah. I started watching Rebels and Chopper, and I thought, well, I'm going to love this. And I just never got into it. But now that I'm going through Clone Wars, I'll eventually get there again and watch it again. So don't worry, guys.
So where'd you get up to in Clone Wars then? Way up to that?
I'm only halfway through season 2 right now.
Oh.
I'm still not very far. But considering there's like 30 fucking episodes per season, it's a lot to get through.
And does it feel like a little bit like a grind? Like, is there a lot of them?
No, not really. I'll watch like 4 or 5 a night. But Tenchi 2K7,
Hmm.
$5. I'm Commander Shepard, and R2D2 is the best astromech droid in the galaxy.
I like it. Very fair. But there you go, guys. That is our final Mandalorian review of the 2020 in our final, of this kind. As you guys may or may not know, it's Christmas in a couple of days. For those of you that have not been keeping track of the calendar, Christmas is a calling. We've got Wednesday, no, because today's already tomorrow. We've got Tuesday the 22nd, which is currently today for me, Wednesday the 23rd, Thursday the Christmas Eve, and Friday the Christmas. We did put some time in today, both of us, to spend my entire day and your entire morning around your family stuff to film. So there's a good chunk of content coming out for you guys.
And so yeah, we're gonna have a live tomorrow. We'll have a prediction review on the 23rd, I'm sure. Still, prediction review live. I might do a first reaction on Christmas Eve. I kind of 50.
Well, as I said,
hold on, I'm frozen, I guess, so you don't even know if I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Sorry, am I back yet? Because you're still frozen on my screen.
Hello.
There you are. All right. I was going to say, yeah, 50-50, I'll do one on Christmas Eve. We will not be doing a review on Christmas Day.
Because that day sucks. Those Fridays suck for me. I'm editing all day. It's the least fun day of the week. But just to ask guys now, part of why we do the lives is that people come to the lives. So if Stuart goes live and he hits 21 people on Christmas Eve, there's no point in him doing it, because it's his time he's using. So tell us in the chat right now, 142 people, that's quite a lot of you. We've got a good amount of super chats today for a Mandalorian. How many of you would turn up to a Christmas Eve Stuart Discovery First reaction? Not guaranteeing he will, but yay or nay, yes or no, would you? Because if you are busy, which is totally understandable, it's a big effort.
Anywhere from 23rd to December 2nd, I don't expect anybody to do anything because I don't want people to bug me from the 23rd to the 2nd. But that being said, I think the 28th, maybe we'll do our review for Discovery. Do you think that's fair? The Monday? Because it won't be Mandalorian Monday anymore.
I would assume we might film something on the 26th, private, an hour. Because I think we can give an hour. We have something edited. And then do a live. Because I think that's, we can both do an hour on a week, and then
Yeah, but we do our live on the Monday, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The review, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yep. And then the 31st, of course, is Sylvia's birthday, which is also Thursday, which means I won't be doing a live first reaction for that. The 1st is the Friday, which I don't think we'll be doing a review on that day either. It'll probably be the following Monday.
So we'll probably do an edited around the weekend time, which is obviously 25 minutes. So you'll know our thoughts, and then that would make sense. I think I could see that working.
The most important thing to do, guys, is hit subscribe. Make sure you click notification bell to all, and be a member of the Facebook group, because we always let you know when we're going live there. Plus, YouTube should let you know, theoretically, in theory. But after the 2nd, then everything will kind of fall back into place, because there's one episode of Discovery after that, and then we'll let you know what's going on with TNG reviews and stuff like that. But
yes, yeah. But obviously, while the episode of Discovery comes out, we then have that 7-day turnaround of everything else we do. Normally, just the normal review content, and then we'll do the retrospective. Probably not for Mandalorian. I don't think that's worth it this year. I think we've already summarized the whole season very well. I don't think that's necessary. But that'll be a drunk one, and I'm really looking forward to that, because we'll have the reveal end of the season. And so that will be our big sort of January one. Obviously, as we're taking days off, that means our income's going to dive bomb. Hey, that's okay. So make that Drunk Live an epic one, and we'll run right back into January.
And we'll do another Drunk Live as well sometime in January, recapping season 2 of Mandalorian.
You think it will?
I think that's worth it. I think it's worth it for a hangout,
Okay.
But we'll let you guys know about that. We still need to talk about it ourselves. So, Dan23 throws in £2. R2D2 and C3PO show is called Star Wars: A Droid Story. Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
What, the one from the 70s?
No, that's droids. There's a new one. They've announced Droid Story.
Oh, I didn't know it was with R2 and C3PO.
Yeah, they're leading another droid, or I don't know what the story is, but
so Anthony's back in work again.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't age. The voice.
He's never been out of work.
No.
Fleet Pass Swiftback $2. I'm a mod. I'll be here. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. We're not going to make you work on the holidays, though. So if
Hey,
the moderators can't make it, it's fine.
unless you want to do the first reaction live, we take the day off. You guys do all work for us. No, please don't.
Yeah. ISFJ 1009 $2. Will it be a drunk review? I'm in. Well, for which one?
Well, I think
28th? No.
Yeah, we've been. Oh, and Peter says, yeah, we need to do our strongest ships of all Trek drunk follow up.
Yes, we do. But that'll be something for. Fuck, I don't know. January 3 drunk reviews. Can we do that? That's a little much.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
I expect this everyone to get really sloppy. I'm okay with that. Mandalorian less so, but I'll have a few for that. But that other one will be probably end of February probably, which will be cool. And yeah, expect some ship content. We've already talked about this in another video we filmed, so tune in for that. We kind of go over some of our plans and ideas. TNG will obviously come back, as well as we have some other really good ideas that Stuart kind of had the bright spark, and then we kind of bounced off each other for some like, whoa, ideas. So those sound interesting. And a couple of other guests already pre-filmed and raring. So you guys know we're here, and hopefully you guys will agree that we've kept you quite entertained throughout this pandemic year. We know we've done a lot of videos, a lot of content. Hope it's been, and you guys have shown up with your donations and super chats, so definitely.
And a few people have said probably or yes to a Christmas Eve one. Some said they'll be in bed waiting for Santa Claus, but
well, yeah, anyone over.
I mean, we can wait up. How about this? How about we wait up live for Santa Claus and catch the little bastard? See if he's wearing a mask. We can call him out for that if he's not.
Oh. I mean,
there you go.
If you're doing your first reaction, maybe he'll be awake long enough.
I'm just not going to do a first reaction. I'm going to say screw that. I'm just going to do a Christmas Eve. Let's capture Santa stream. Dun dun dun.
Hey, could work.
Annie. Catch you. Are we still alive? I guess so. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh. Well, we can all see you guys. I mean, him. So yeah. Have a lovely evening. Merry Christmas if we don't. But we'll see you tomorrow. So we'll say all of our big Merry Christmases then. But thanks for joining in. Glad we got the Luke talk successfully done. Have a nice dinner, Stuart. Yes. I'm gonna do actually a Star Wars animation. Go back to that I was doing. So tease.
Nice.
Tease.
All right. Bye guys.
Till next time.
He's Commander Cocking.